This is BlackLiq. You were watching DOD45. And I'm not telling you why you're watching. You know why you're watching. But I guarantee if you see me, you don't know what you're watching. Prepare yourself.
My name is Sage Francis. Boing.
Hey, I'm not Sage. I'm Dibs.
I'm Dose.
Hey, I'm Slug.
I'm Buck.
And I'm Gel.
This is Prem Rock.
And this is Curly Castro.
This is Brother Ali, and you're watching DOD45.
45.
Keep it right here. There's a lot of things happening here that you're not going to get anywhere else.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
DOD45. This is the DOD45 Show, drawing over discussions 45 minutes with a special guest. Welcome. I'm your host and resident artist, Ty of Art by Ty, joined by my awesome co-host, Adrian Taiwali'i. In each of these DOD45 episodes, we sit down with a special guest, someone we admire and are inspired by, and we dive into meaningful discussions. But here's the twist. While we're chopping it up with our guest, I'll also be creating live artwork that unfolds in real time. I set a 45-minute timer, grab my pen, and create a one-of-a-kind piece of art for our guest while we chat. So stick around to experience the creative process in action, hear some great stories, and maybe even learn something new and unexpected about today's guest. Peace. DOD45. Hello, fellow humans.
People of Earth, how are you?
Okwatanzan. What are you looking at? Hello, Adrian.
I was seeing if you had your tooth in.
Yo, Adrian.
Hello, I've got a tooth. It's just a temporary. Hello, Adrian. Now, be honest.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Are you here willingly or blinking for help? Don't do that, because someone might really think. Our guest tonight is Richmond MC, educator, and lyrical powerhouse BlackLiq.
Everybody handles death different, that I learned. It was hard to see my nigga on that block that didn't earn. Knowing that they burned his body like I did his CD. BC keeps me strong and bring the best out of me. When he skipped the funeral, I almost said that he weak. But it's me who was wrong, it was me that was weak. I do everything I can just to act like I don't feel having cried.
But is he still Richmond, Virginia? I don't know. Can you hear when I'm... So I have this tooth thing for the audience, and it's got it's like a retainer, but when I see the T's, I can feel that it's like lispy. Can you hear it?
It's not nearly as bad as your other
There's
options,
the grill.
or your whistle when your tooth is not in.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, our guest today is BlackLiq. We'll be seeing him this weekend at Strange Famous Beach Bash.
You think?
Yeah, he's there. He's on the bill.
Oh.
And the Beach Bash is bash. It's the S's. The Beach Bash. Beach Bash. Can you hear that?
It's not as bad as it was with the grill thing. You sounded like my Aunt Shayla.
Well, so we will see him at the Beach Bash at the Ocean Mist in South Kingston, Rhode Island. It's going to be a killer show. It's got Mopes, Meter Maids, BlackLiq, Jesse the Tree, Early Adopted, Jivin Scientist, and Zol. And I'm pretty sure that Tree, Mopes, and Meter Maids are performing as their new group, the Baldwin Brothers. And it might be even part of their record release thing.
Oh, cool.
I'm not sure of that. And of course, Sage Francis as the headliner.
That'll be cool, because that'll be the first time I think they've performed as a trio together, right?
Quadruple.
Oh. Wait, who is it again?
Mopes, Jesse,
Mopes, that's
Sentence, and Swell. So exciting. And we're staying in an Airbnb, and we got many of the people staying with us. That's going to be fun. So that's, depending on when this drops, if I had time to edit it, that is this weekend. And if you haven't got tickets are available online at the Ocean Mist venue. They're like $30 or something like that. Go get one and just turn up. How's that?
$30.06.
So, is that what it is? That must be a weird tax thing. I also just today found out that it's a 21 and over club, so I'm going to need to reach out to Storm or Sage to find out about our kiddos getting in there. I don't know. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
I'll have to look through the window.
And they can wait on the beach. It's at night, though, so... If you're in the live chat, hi. Hello, everybody. Take 5, please, after or even right now, rate and review our show on Spotify and Apple, all those places. All the links to those things are at DOD45.com. That's links to all our episodes as well. Let's give some quick shout outs to our affiliates: Jackson Young Gallery in Chicago, Hob Sauce, Wyoming Out Loud, Handsmade Collective, Terra Tacos in St. Louis, Brickbox Brewery in Tucson, Arizona, AWOL and Speakerface Store, Old Blue Gallery, that's here in Hannibal, Missouri, the Underground Sound Magazine, Mr. Dibs, of course, Sage Francis, and Strange Famous Records. Oh, and Growhaven up there in Pawpaw, Michigan.
You like pawpaws?
I don't even know what pawpaws are.
It's a fruit. It kind of tastes like a banana, but it looks more like a mango.
Is that why Pawpaw, Michigan are they growing up in
Probably.
Pawpaw, Michigan?
They're native.
I don't even know what they are. I thought it was some sort of animal.
I almost planted a pawpaw, but
planted.
No, they get stanky if you don't get that fruit up.
One of my favorite things every morning after my workout when I'm making my shake is like one of my favorite meals because I haven't eaten all day, is grabbing the kale right out of our garden.
The sea kale, thanks to MC Soul for that suggestion.
Oh, so good. It's just so great. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, I'm going to do some past guest music, share some guests from music from past guests real quickly. We'll just run through them real quick because these are, I want to be very supportive of all the artists who've
new music
been on our show. Yeah, these are new music that's out this week, maybe last week, or within the month. The first song is a song called Keeping Us Alive. Oh, actually, it's just called Keep Us Alive.
You'll never meet a cop who would take a bullet for you. You'll never meet a politician looking out for you. They want to disappear our peers, leave none of us left.
And that's Miles Bolin featuring Soul and Factor Chandelier. That track dropped in June. It's a raw, introspective anthem. And then the next song is number 3, On the Phone.
Back to work, the time is now and not a minute later. I got the microphone and one hand on the input fader. Recognize the innovator, blasting off from Nova Scotia, comatose of trouble.
That's from Buck 65 off his Keep Moving album. And he had said that once he heard the beat, he knew immediately that was the perfect album opener. Then there's a track called Dernier Cree or Dernier Cry, C-R-I.
And fuck it up, I'll kill you, take something we create, and fuck it up.
It's from this group called Chrome, K-R-O-H-M-E, and it features Sage Francis and Mike McTernan, and it's from their album called The Animals Know You're Dead, and it's like a metal song, metal and Sage track. I don't know anything. It just dropped in my playlist and I was like, hey, well, check this out. So check that song out. Then there's a song called Talk King. That's from I Alive featuring Curly Castro.
Hey yo, roses are outcast, violets are saucy, injury and all-star, crown on Brad Doherty. 3 lefts don't make it right, that's where you lost me.
That's off his Quietism album. It's got smart bars, heavy vibes, and then the expert remix of Lilac Tomb.
Lampshade over skull, fur coat, foe, dancing in the dark, tree springs, theme, phone home, spin a watch back, still in daylight.
That's Sleeping Dogs, Andrew and Jesse the Tree. Experts remix is layered with atmosphere. Great track. Bourbon Generals theme, part 3. That's Zilla Rocca featuring Prem Rock.
Inside edition rap. Sign a raping you records with chicken scratch. Cornerful pyrotechnics, skipping steps, plyometrics, buy low, high deficit, winning the bitch. You won't.
It's short. It's like under 2 minutes, but it's swagger heavy. And then there's a track called Big Black Cloud. That's off Chesky's From Francisco Faults Part 2 album with Child Actor on the production. And that's classic somber Chesky. Great track. There's a song called Look Ma No Valleys.
Crumpled up game plans found by the opposition. Maybe it's a false flag, maybe it's a white one. Surrender in your tone, not by your language.
From our man up there in Chicago, Rich Jones. It's super laid back. Rich, love that track. Dangerously Lazy by Mike Ladd.
to the latest trial and tribulation. Wealthy nations complaining that they ain't the number one patient with a God.
That's got a real funky jam. The bass line goes real hard. I like that one a lot. And then finally, Scissor Kick Part 2.
Don't even know a word yet.
From Brett Fullerton. Now, that song might be on Spotify. I don't know. It might be being taken off Spotify as we speak.
Right?
Yes. Brett is very upset. Rightfully so.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those moves that the more people would do it, the more.
I know. But at the same time, it's almost like for some people, maybe
hard.
you're eliminating your own.
I know.
It's like
but if there was a storm of people removing all at once, then it would maybe have an impact.
Sounds like Bandcamp should just step up. And for those of you who are listening who don't know, Brett Fullerton had posted that he was pulling all his music off of Spotify due to their political stances and things like that. Yeah.
What are they up to?
I don't really know. I mean, I don't know. You can look it up. If you want to see,
I'm going to have to cancel our subscription.
So anyway, that's a quick spin through some new music from our past guests. So go check those out. Go support them. We love them. All right, we got those 3 new intro segments, or the segments in the intro. And the first one is called Something I Read. And here's something I read, okay? I thought this was pretty interesting. We'll just cruise through these. But octopuses taste, or octopi, octopuses? Yeah, octopuses taste with their arms. Did you know that?
I think I did know that they had almost like sensors, taste buds.
Yeah,
suckers.
So here's what I read. A new study reveals they're tasting chemical cues from microbes that grow on the surface of objects like dead crabs and living octopus eggs. The flavors, it turns out, can signal which prey is worth pursuing or which egg isn't going to make it. So, of their own. Their arms bristle with neurons that inform their behavior, sometimes even independently of their own brains. Sensory receptors in their arms enable them to taste by touch. That's essential to how they decide what to nurture, what to hunt, and what isn't worth their time. But I think that they just bail on the
that would be cool because then you'd be like,
we do something similar.
When you're making dinner, you could just stick your finger in it to see if it needs more salt instead of actually. By the time it's time to eat, I'm almost full after making sure it's flavored right.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Taste by touch equals how they know what to nurture,
I just roll
hunt, or
cookies
ignore.
in my hands all day.
Oh, yeah, and then you're just tasting them, but it doesn't give you the same nourishment. Well, cookies don't give you nourishment.
Right, so I could have all the yummy stuff and none of the calories.
I thought that was pretty interesting. All right, here's Just the Thought. This is another segment, Just the Thought. And this is about Will Smith as an actor, not as anything else to do with any of his slapping business or any of his shit music, but this is something that I just realized why I've always disliked him as an actor. So here's what happened. I was randomly rewatching Men in Black in the hotel room in Lansing, Michigan. And I'm saying, go watch this scene. Specifically, there's a scene where Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones are sitting on a bench talking about what they do. And if you watch Will in that moment, every hand gesture, every blink, every breath feels like it's choreographed. And it's like this weird, he's constantly signaling, pressing his hands together, or like tilting his head just a little bit at the right angle, or using his face to deliver like emoji reactions. Yeah, but it's all happening in real time. It's like so intentional. Like nothing's happening. You can see he's like trying to show you. It's like just too visible. I don't know. It's a weird, obvious thing that I've never been able to pinpoint, but I've never liked him on screen. But if you go watch that scene, compare it to what Tommy Lee Jones is doing in that exact same scene, he's barely moving, he barely emotes, and that you can feel everything that he's doing. You never catch him acting. He's just is, while Will's over there arranging expressions and beats like he's trying to win a scene instead of live in it.
Go ahead.
Well, he performs the idea of a person. So he's like, this is what I think a person would do. Like,
but some people do that when you're trying to have a what?
So exactly. And that's what makes me think that's how he probably is in real life. Every emotion he has or every reaction to things that's happening to him, he's like it's calculated. Like he's instead of just being an authentic human being. So those
That's
kind of people.
An assumption, but yeah.
Yeah,
but those people do exist.
Yeah, and they weird me out. I don't like it. So that's just my thought. And I change it. It's not, is this a shitty thought anymore? It's just a thought.
So I don't get to decide if that's shitty.
You can. What do you think?
I don't care.
I know you don't.
I don't care for Will Smith one way or another, but I was a big fan of...
Summertime.
No. The show, DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Parents just don't understand?
Fresh Prince, the TV show. What was that called? DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince?
No. It's called Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, I watched that.
I did not.
And I did like one of his movies. Remember? The one with the lion in New York City.
Yeah, that one, it's pretty cool, but...
I don't remember if it is good.
It's pretty cool. It's called, oh boy. It's a zombie-ish movie. Oh shoot. I just had it in my head, but it's gone. Yeah. It was a pretty good movie, but I think it was just the movie. I don't know if it's him. So now every time we go watch it, just watch him make all his calculated
I almost
moves.
never rewatch movies.
All right, the third segment in our intro is called What Do You Want to Know? And these are questions from the audience. Okay. And if you want to ask us a question, you can DM us at DOD45W on Instagram, or you can leave comments in the post of the episodes. Spotify also lets you comment now too, but I guess maybe we're going to... anyway, you can send us questions. Here's a question that we'll do two questions. There's a question for me out of the DM, and it says, has a guest ever changed your mind? And that was from Open Mindy Mike. I wonder if that's like an Open Mike Eagle, but Mindy version. Anyway, has a guest ever changed your mind? Yes. I think I've mentioned it in many episodes, but I'm very impressionable. So if I'm talking to someone that I like and they're telling me something, an opinion they have or something, and I don't really have an opinion either way, I'm like, oh yeah, I like that. That sounds cool. I'll ride with that. Doesn't mean I don't have stances on things, but just things that I don't really care about. If someone's passionate about something, I can trust. I kind of can read if they're telling me the truth, and I get a vibe off of it. So I roll with it. I don't know. I change my mind all the time.
You're a bit fluid like that.
Yeah. I'm fluid in the moment. Always. I always have been. So thanks for your question, Open Mindy Mike. Oh, I should put where the question... Oh, yeah, that was on Instagram. This question's for Adrian, and it's from @Ty. Oh, another Ty. Ty_Ka_Wheeler. Ty Ka Wheeler. I wonder if that's Ka, R.I.P. Ka, the Ka, the rapper. Anyway, here's the question. If Ty lost his voice,
okay,
who would you be your dream guest for the takeover?
There would be no takeover. We could just be quiet. We could just be quiet.
Oh, do you just want it to be quiet all the time?
I don't mind quiet. But a dream. See, the problem is I don't much like talking, and
is there any?
You just go ahead and talk, and I just let you. And I don't know that I'm close enough with anyone who I could just like let it roll and call them out on things. Because
why do you have to call people out? Why not just have a discussion?
Well, they would have to like know what to talk about.
Are you a combative communicator? Like, if a conversation to you means we need to battle this out.
I'm usually not talked to one-on-one. I'm like a side. Yeah. I'm like off to the side in a conversation.
Is that preferred?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then sometimes you get irritated when someone won't look at you when they're talking.
That's fine. That's okay. I mean, I'm still there. I still exist. If I'm kind of just like, I'm there. I don't have to comment on anything. But if someone's directly talking at me but looking at you,
oh yeah,
that's
weird. Well, there you go. All right,
I'm sorry. I really don't have an answer. But if I were to choose who, I don't know. Who do I like?
What about King Cruel?
I don't. Maybe. You know who?
Oh, who?
The
The
maybe
Australian
like
guy?
Ed Gamble, maybe.
Oh, Ed Gamble. That'd be funny.
Because he could just talk.
Yeah, you want to talk to someone who can just talk and be
Or
funny?
the other guy. Who's the other guy again?
James A. Caster.
Yeah, either one of those.
Okay.
I take one of those.
Oh, all right. I like it. I put in a request for James A. Caster through Kalen of Wheelchair Sports Camp.
Yeah.
And that was right when Off Menu was like really taking off. And he was like, I don't have time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I wonder if Kalen told him, I don't have time to be on your record, your Temps record. Well,
maybe.
She
I
didn't
doubt
because
it.
she was on it. All right, here we go. Thanks. Thanks for your questions, everybody. Make sure you send us in questions. We can answer them. Let's do a guest intro because he's going to be here in just a second. Here's who BlackLiq is. I don't want to claim he's one thing or not. Whatever. Maybe we don't need titles. But he's from Richmond, Virginia. Maybe he's moved. We don't know. He's a rapper, educator, radio host of WRIR's Hip Hop for the Rest of Us. He's a TEDx speaker. Mm-hmm. He used to burn CDRs. He taught in juvie, fronts a punk metal band called Armageddon, and he's a strange, famous mainstay. He's truth-driven. He's not trend-chasing. Here's 8 essential tracks I want you to check out before you jump into his new album, Much Given, Much Tested, which we're going to talk about here on this episode. This song I want you to check out is a song called The Tooth.
I know this one lady, she be hiding her mouth. She conceal it when she talk, but I figured it out. The only reason that I knew and recognized the move is cause when I was young, what my mother went through. I guess the only way to tell it is to tell you the truth. I learned a lot about shame from my mom's front tooth. They say you'll find sadness if you look.
And it's about his mom's tooth. It's a way more serious story in his version, but it's apropos of if you've been watching the last few episodes, I've been having an issue with my tooth. And I can relate to what he's saying, only the part about like kind of hiding your missing tooth stuff. But yeah, it lands pretty heavy, but it's a cool track. Check that out. Then I want you to check out Guilty.
My father's in prison. When he got locked, I ain't missing. His trial went fast. That DNA match was the reason I couldn't testify. They said it could have been me, so they put my ass on standby. I had to wait and see. He told me I'm not guilty. In Rikers jail I used to visit, speeding over the bridge to the county at a rate of contradiction. It was risky, my conscience.
And on the track he says, I'm not guilty, but why am I? Love that line, love that song. That one is from Chases a Chance with Mopes. Then I want you to check out What's the Difference.
My face is unfamiliar, but it opens up my phone. So I figure when I die, I won't be all alone. See, I got the internet, they respect my intellect. If I pass on intercept, my post will interject. See, I know I hold my own, keep the way I hold my phone. Keep a gun up on my waist every time I leave my home. I keep one up in the chamber, plus I schedule all my posts. I was born ready, nigga, but for what I don't.
That's from the Glow Kid album that I did the cover art for, and I'm very grateful for that album because that album is basically what got me linked in with Strange Famous. It was going to happen anyway, but that was like the really first kind of link up there. And then check out this song Online.
The rhythm of our new heartbeats and algorithm. We're not sure if we're living. We scroll through our feed while we starve for attention. We're not men, we're not women, we're robots. The story we tell, there's no ending. We spend time, we pay attention. We all live forever and never at the same time. Cause we're always online. I don't see myself.
It's a social isolation track. It's urgent, not trendy. And it's got these really, the beat is not very BlackLiq sounding. All right, check it out. Love it. Then there's personal recordings off Orpheus's High Artifice album.
I say the same thing twice to give you my word once. So if you're here for lyricism, I am not the one. I used to have a few excuses, but they're all used up. They said the sky is the limit. Then my nigga had sons. We used to have a lot of fun till the dude got done. I stopped smoking weed and all the shit got blunt. But that's the irony. I showed myself the things that I could be.
An album which I can full on love. And I love hearing BlackLiq on there. And then check out Depressed. And that's from the Crime is Theater album. That's the Armageddon group, the punk group, punk, metal, whatever you want to call it. It's got really like DRI skate vibes, Dirty Rotten Imbecile skate vibes. And when I hear it, it really puts me back to that time. And I was talking to my kids recently, and I love DRI, but I don't listen to DRI all that much anymore. I don't need to. I just love that energy from that time. Then there's Party McFly.
She says she want a ring and I don't even call. She need TLC, but this water don't fall. I'm BlackLiq. I wear this here, work like a glove. And I love to make mistakes, cause mistakes make love. See, it's one thing to talk, another thing to do it. You gotta have it first, otherwise you can't lose it. My mom made up, I am not that creative. And if I told you once, we had a conversation.
Anytime someone on that track is on there, I share it. I love the music video. It's on Mopes' album, and the pocket that BlackLiq sits in with his voice, his cadence, his style, with everyone else that's on that track, it's just really awesome. It's a really amazing track. The video is a lot of fun. There's something that Mopes does in that video that I love. I can't remember the lyric, but he I don't know. There's something that he does. Yeah, there's something that I can't remember the lyric. I don't know. It just puts a smile on my face. And then check out Pressed.
I've been in this for life, you just shit on your wife. I'm the type to take a chance, you just take the advice. You've been window shopping this, I've been paying the price. They call me BlackLiq, and listen, you can love it and like. Only time I ever stop is when I'm taking a pee. You take a L like it a fee, you was spitting for free. I'm the type to build a lock, you just asking for keys. I go online and look at you, while you looking at me. I'm what it's like to see the thing that you'll never be.
That's a Posse Cut featuring Slug. It's on Slug's album. It's Slug, Sa-Roc, Haphduzn. And these guys everyone's laying down awesome verses. Obviously Slug's legendary, but Black doesn't flinch at all. He's in there.
I don't think he's ever flinched.
No, that's true. He probably never has. Like, you could ask him, hey, do you ever play that game 2 for flinching? You're like, what the fuck is a flinch? Flinch is a weird word, by the way. So those are 8 tracks. It's 8 facets of one artist. Test those out and then get yourself into much given, much tested. Ooh, test. No pun intended when I said that. If you want to learn more about BlackLiq, because on this episode we're going to dive into this new album. But if you want to learn more about him personally or our very first experience with him, go watch our first episode with him. That was back in 2022. That was the first time we met BlackLiq.
It's a while back.
Yeah, it is a while back. But there's still all pertinent information. You can go, if you want to get your first introduction to him, you can catch all of that. If you want to really get to know Black, go to his Bandcamp. That's blackliq.bandcamp.com. BlackLiq is spelt with Black L-I-Q. There's massive amounts. There's a cruise ship full of music there that you can't get anywhere else but on his Bandcamp.
I always, when I'm not, it's not that I'm typing him or anything, but every time I, maybe in the chat or something, I'll mention him, I spell it B-L-A-Q.
Why?
I don't know.
That is weird. B-L-A-Q. Oh, yeah, I guess.
I don't know. I just kind of push them together.
BlackLiq.
No, I don't even put the lick.
I just put Black. I find that I just say Black.
I do too. That's what I'm saying. I guess that Q just makes a good K for me.
Well, there he is. He said, just texted, said he'll be on in a few. So, okay. But that's what. So those are the things. His name is spelled B-L-A-C-K-L-I-Q, not B-L-A-Q. But that could work for someone. I bet there is someone out there with the name B-L-A-Q.
I'm not really good at this. The English arts.
Well, we're gonna be back with BlackLiq.
Okay.
Don't go anywhere. We'll just run a quick little intro, some pictures, and the theme music by Mr. Dibs that we love so much, and then we'll be right back with our man BlackLiq. Stay tuned.
Peace, world, and welcome to the DOD45. And today is very special because we're on Series 8. And you know what that means. Hold on to your radios and warm up to your favorite podcast, DOD45. I am AWOL1, your friendly neighborhood rap dude who likes to draw things. Have a great day.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
DOD45.
Welcome.
The fuck is up, yo? How y'all been?
Hey.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
Or living in a dream.
One of the three. Because the third option is the unspoken. I've been living all sorts of crazy shit. My life, man. It's been everything at once, yo.
Yeah, thanks again for joining us again on the show. We're gonna talk about the album. I want to go through the album, and I'm gonna draw you a picture.
Oh, shit.
And all my imagery that I've put in, I've did a little outline of it. It's all stuff that's based off the title tracks and stuff in the album.
Okay.
A lot of it's metaphorical, like my work always is. Huh? All right, I'm gonna set the timer and I'll start drawing.
Let's go to war.
All right, cruise ship for a week or a remote cabin for a week?
Holy shit. Remote cabin, they brought us over here. I ain't going back on no boat.
Yeah, I wondered when I put the cruise ship, I was like, I wonder if that's gonna.
yeah. I'm not getting on the Amistad.
What about lose a finger in a table saw incident or lose a toe in a kung fu tournament?
Ooh, depends on the finger, and because if I can't shoot a gun, flip somebody off and play a video game, we got a problem. So maybe a toe, you know what I'm saying? Like I hear you can adapt as long as it's not the pinky. You should be able to walk pretty decent.
Oh, did they say you can't walk if you're missing the pinky toe?
Apparently, it's essential in some kind of way. That's what I've heard.
For your balance.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
But one of those metal ones are probably fine.
Yeah, So well, and plus, kung fu. It sounds kind of fun.
Yeah.
All right, here's the last one of these. Nick Cage in Gilligan's Island reboot as Gilligan, or in Night Court as Judge Harry.
Oh, Night Court all day.
Nice.
Night Court all day. Yeah.
Actually, he doesn't have to play Judge Harry too. Who would he fit better as?
No, I like the judge.
Okay.
I like the judge. Yeah, I like that. You have to have him. These days, his roles are gravitational. So you have to have this thing where things fall into it. Like if you watch have you seen The Surfer?
I haven't watched it yet.
It's super weird. And while he's the main character, you often wonder, is he the main character? It's like he's a momentum piece in these films. I love the way that he picks scripts because he's no longer the star. He's more of like a thing that holds a constellation of whatever the film is together.
Oh yeah.
It's very weird, but very great.
Yeah, it's because of your episode that I decided, you know what, I'm gonna get back into Nick Cage. So I thank you for that. Yeah,
challenge you to a cage fight. Yeah,
it's been a lot of fun. Hey, what time do you eat lunch? And are you okay with skipping meals?
Oh yeah, I skip them all. I don't know. I don't have any kind of schedule. I'm like one of those like the kitty thugs we got or a cow I graze. You know what I'm saying?
Has that always been the case? Have you never cared when you eat a meal?
I mean, I was a fat kid, but the only thing I didn't care for is breakfast. I always skip breakfast. I've never been a breakfast person. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, how are you going to do that early? You going to get up at 6 a.m. and be like, I want to smell some eggs. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah, I've never been huge on breakfast.
Yeah, no, I don't think most people, that's the one for most people to skip. All right, let me go here. Let's talk about your album.
Okay.
On the cover, there's the feet washing imagery on the cover.
Yeah.
Is that a commentary or just visual motif?
Yo, all right. This album, I got a lot of weird stories about the album, man. And so the feet washing thing, like me and Dub are going back and forth, like, yo, what do we even do about this visually? And for me, like the biggest thing about like me and Dub, the difference is Dub is a thinker, Dub's a talker, Dub is I'm gonna sit with the guy, and I don't fucking care. So he's like, yo, what do you think of this? I'm like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? And we had and he was like, well, what about it? I was like, it's got to be something crazy. I was like, I'm not a visual person like that, and I don't really think of this stuff. But one of the things during that time, especially, with me taking care of my mom, was the idea of service. And the guy who did our artwork was not an echo. He's Japanese. And looking through stuff on the internet, I had found that they have, I forgot the name, like the actual Japanese word for it, but there is a cultural word for taking care of your elders. And the act of service is washing feet, you know, and if you take it to another level, what strikes with people the most, like, you know, Jesus washing the feet. So then it got really weird. And I was like, yo, let's just send him some crazy shit and challenge him, because look at his art. It's fucking weird. Let's just tell him we want to, now I'm not worked and centered around, you know, Hitler washing Anne Frank's feet. And yo, and Dub was like, you know what? He was like, that's just too crazy. And I was like, yeah, whatever. But we couldn't think of anything else. And so we sent it to Not an Echo. And like, he couldn't get anything. You know what I'm saying? He kept saying, like, he'd email us because it took forever. It probably took us longer to get the artwork than it did to write the album. Wow. And he kept like saying, no, I'm going to give you something. And it got to the point where I was like, Dub, like, we about to have to find somebody else. I got cats in Richmond that we can mess with, but like, we're going to have to cancel this or something or move on from him. I really want art from him because I believe in him. And Dub was like, yo, no, we're not going to give up. He's going to come with something. And like, right when we got to that point to where we were like, nah, that's when he came with that, with the imagery and the synopsis. And I looked at the picture and I was like, I don't know what the hell this is, but I was like, but I understand the synopsis and it feels the same.
Yeah.
And to think that a guy in Japan listened to our album and that the notes that we sent him and that image that he fought for and carved out of the block in his mind after going over it for so long, they end up coming up with that thing that whatever it is, like it really was meaningful for me. And so like, while, you know, we always have the amazing artwork with the Strange Famous albums and stuff, like this was different, and the process was different and the outcome was different. And for once, it wasn't a commentary on the project. It was his own thing, is how it felt for me, at least. Even though it was based off of his interpretation and somewhat of a commentary, certainly.
Yeah. How cool. Well, I'm glad I asked about that. Do you have a stance on feet, or do you at all? Like some people do.
Yo, some people are real like, oh, don't touch me with your feet, yo. You know what I'm saying? I remember my man Freeze watched me clip my toenails one time, and he's like, I'll rule the blood. And I was like, bro, I'm gonna wash my hands. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I'm not out here putting barbecue sauce on feet and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I ain't against them. I find I love feet that have vitality to them. Feet that have, you know, that show that they're part of this vascular momentum, and that not like you got to have like Sasquatchian, super veiny, crazy Ren and Stimpy feet. But I mean, like, you know, feet that really show the humanity. I think feet are one of the strange aspects of anatomy that do show our course through time. You know, they always say you can tell somebody's age by their hands, but you can tell their life by their feet.
Yeah, all of my Samoan family, the older, like even my dad's and my aunts, their feet are definitely like feet that have existed, like they've lived lives.
They have full souls on their souls.
Yeah, and that's why that word, you know what I'm saying, fits there. That's what I'm saying. It's one of those things. But it's always weird though, you know, and you never know, man. You see a picture of like Beyonce's feet, and Beyonce's feet look just as wrecked as Kobe or Shaq's feet did, you know? But what those messed up, warped feet are as a testament to their success, you know, and to their journey. It's the ugly side of it, you know?
Yeah. I was going to ask if you had a memory of feet, but I like the one about the clipping the toes. So that's good. I just, if I can share real quickly, I had broken my ankle, and my aunt, on my Samoan side, she massaged my foot for like 2 hours in coconut oil, and I swear it fixed my foot.
It might be. I mean, I stepped in a ditch, and you know, it took some meditation, but like I thought it was over, and then suddenly it just came back. They got powers, man. You know, I used to have to wash my mom's feet sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And like that was a strange experience. I never thought in my life I'd be doing that. You know, the whole journey with my mom was really, really hard. And like, and you know, I journal every day, you know, and so I write every day, and then I don't read it, and then I read it a year later on that day after I wrote for whatever was today. So I'm literally looking at last year today, and last year around this time was just when we were figuring out like what to do when she got out the rehab joint. And all the skills I developed over that year of taking care of her in that most extreme situation, I didn't have them then. So I'm writing about learning them, and I'm also writing about the weirdness of things. And, my mom was diagnosed with onset dementia or vascular dementia. It was a moderate case. It's not the most crazy, like, degenerative thing, but my mom was already weird. So it was hard to figure out where the dementia started and the heed, ended. Yeah. And then, you deal with random things like sundowning. She also had, been put on a peg tube because it turned out she'd been aspirating. And there was just a lot of different things that all came together on top of the wound that she had on her leg, on top of her feet condition, on top of her blood pressure, like all this stuff. And I was the only one. Every day it was just me and her. And, we did a video for the song Falling Down. We did a whole video before all these transitions in my life took place. We shot a whole video, and she's in it, and it's just me doing the stuff. And, I can't even really watch it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like, I'm really looking forward. We keep saying, oh, we're going to put it out. And then we keep shooting other videos, or we keep getting other videos back finally. And we're like, oh, we're going to put this one out next. Like Gunmetal Black will be next. And then I think we'll go there. But we got a lot of behind the scenes footage for that video and stuff.
Oh, cool.
And I'm going to make a whole thing out of it. I've been really enjoying stretching out the release of this album, and like really just like, we're going to reiterate the content. We're going to reiterate the videos. We shot like so many versions of 10 Black Commandments. We're going to shoot more versions of it. And then we're going to do, out of those versions, we'll make a bigger version. And we'll also use the individual versions. Like it's a different approach than what I've done typically with Strange Famous. And so like, this is just me and Dub and my business partner, BC, our No Other Way and Dub's Higher Than Most. Like we're independently doing all this. Mm-hmm. And so I've been experimenting with different social media approaches because I have another album, Most. I wrote that while I was writing this album, and it's totally different than this album. This album was what I thought it was going to do with Mokes, and the other album I thought would be something I'd do with someone else, and instead the opposite happened. So like the album Mokes, bunch of shit talking weird stuff, you know what I'm saying? But it still has a reflective component, and it still has like that, I guess the difficulties, and it still has what our previous two albums had. But it's a not necessarily surface more, but it's more so like, we're not going deep into these aspects except when we have a song that specifically covers, this thing. It's got a kind of, and right now in my mind, it's got a beginning, middle, and end. He's still got a lot of post-production and some thematic stuff that I think he's going to nail out with Storm 2 for it. But it's a totally different vibe and source of content and shit talk versus me telling y'all about the last horribly challenging year of my life.
Yeah, you could really feel it on this album.
Yeah.
Let's do a track by track, so that way it'll give me an opportunity. I have one question for each of them.
Yeah.
That way I can share the track too as we go through them. Mistaken.
The worst thing you could have did is get me started. I took an L this week. Matter of fact, I took two. I sat down and tried to write and ain't shit come through. It got me frustrated. I ain't been right since. I sent double text messages like I need new shit. He ain't reply back. L number 2. I came back and wrote again. I ain't like that too. I had to sit with it.
The first track on the album, strong opener, like always. I mentioned in the last time, the way you start off an album is like, for my taste, like a punch in the face. Like, here you go. Here it comes.
Yeah.
I love it. When you wrote it, were you aiming to clarify something about yourself or let the listener sit with their own projections?
So for me, that album, that album, we had a difficult time getting started and finding like the thing that made the momentum happen. And so when I'm talking about in that song, like I took an L this week, matter of fact, I took 2, you know what I'm saying? And tried to sit down and write and shit come through. It was because that literally happened. I was trying to find a thread that would really bind these records and my energy with Doug, because we'd previously done the split, but like it wasn't there. And so at the same time, I'm hitting him up like, yo, I can't get no words for this beat. I can't get shit for this joint. Like, what the fuck, man? Send me something. I'm sending him text messages and shit, and he's not fucking responding. But then 10 minutes later after my text, what do I see? I see him posting on Instagram and shit. So I'm like, what the fuck, man? You know what I'm saying? Yes. So I'm literally saying, send me something, and you're not. You're sending me batches of beats, and I'm like, and he's a skeleton guy, and his skeleton ideas are a little more underdeveloped than I would say what you might get from Mokes, which is fine for me because that means he's going to do. At the time, I didn't nearly have an idea of how much he was going to build on our ideas and the changes he was going to make in his own productive language. But the song, basically, the idea was, instead of making a song about me, I'm going to make a song about him. And that way people will understand the weirdness of our relationship, because we constantly, like, this album to me is like the Metallica Black Album thing, where like they hated Bob Rock, but they like loved him because he was like putting them into a place where they were being challenged to face themselves and create something greater than anything they'd ever done. And if they were totally uncomfortable the entire time. And that's what Dub was, because we constantly were always bumping heads about shit. And the thing that was killing me was like, dude, answer your fucking phone. You know what I'm saying? Answer my text message. But then later on, he'd be like, yo, let's talk about it. I'm like, what the fuck do we need to have a conversation on the phone about this for? You know? And I felt like an asshole the whole time. But at the same time, it ended up making the music that much better, I'd say.
Yeah, and a smart way to start off the album too. From that was like the beginning joint. That was the way to pop it off. Yeah, I was wondering if that was like if you were directly speaking to him, but I guess that's what you just explained there.
Yeah.
All right, and then the next track is a track called "Ordinary" featuring it's Nicholas F. Right?
Yeah, legendary.
This ordinary rap shit, it doesn't excite me. I'm extraordinarily ratchet, like eating a side piece. I know all y'all niggas, I don't care if you like me. So shut the fuck up like a response while you typing. I ain't going nowhere, you ain't going anywhere. Delete your IG, nigga, nobody cares. What ain't raw ain't real. I'll let y'all cook, nobody likes you. You are face.
But where do you feel like our fear of being ordinary comes from? Or what is that? What is that?
It's FOMO. Because sometimes you feel like you're going to miss out on something, and other times you feel like people are going to miss out on you. And so, like, with Ordinary, it was like we were going through, and me and Nick have known each other forever, but we've never worked together. And Nick is the rapper of Richmond, right? Like, I don't know whether y'all are aware of Nick's history, but Drake was like hanging out with Nick. Like, Nick came by, my old producer, Brendan's baby, shout out to Mr. MySpace, AKA. He came through his crib because they used to be in a rap group together way, way back in the day. And I remember Damien, Mr. MySpace, he told me, he was like, yo, Nick came through and he had this guy with him that apparently, this light-skinned dude that apparently Cash Money's looking into. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And it was fucking Drake. And he was writing for Drake at the time too, some. And there was about, I'd say 6 to 8 months ago, Drake even commented on a video interview that Nick did and said like Idol or Legendary or something like that. Like, they had a real relationship and things kind of went however it went. And, it ended up being a situation where, all right, well, Nick didn't end up going that way clearly with them, but he is a pioneer and a masterful lyricist. And so, in my opinion, one of the things that happens with excellence is when it becomes standardized, it becomes ordinary. And a lot of times, then what do rappers do? They over rap, they over lyrically. It's just like you get I hate to use his name or bring him up, but Joyner Lucas is a prime example, or even Eminem at the same time. All those guys are the dudes who write the song, give you the song, and then they're like, oh wait, I got a fast rap at the end. It's like, nobody wants to fucking hear this. You know what I'm saying? I would like you so much more if you stop this fast shit. But like, Nick, he's always been somebody that I've wanted to do something with, and people have asked me to do something with. And I was like, yo, this is the chance to do it. And he'd done something with Dub previously as well, like way back in the day. So it was like a full circle moment. But like, I was like, I don't want this song to just come across as, oh, you were expecting us two lyricist guys to come off with some bars. Like, I felt like the one thing that we could do is represent, because I knew he was going to do some crazy shit and say a bunch of stuff that's outlandish. And I paint with my reality. That's like my thing is every brushstroke is a piece of my experience, not my imagination. Whereas he's a very imaginative, vivid lyricist who, like the way he talks about like dancing like a witch doctor while the bones rattle, like everything he says is so visual. And that's what I wanted him to do, was to provide such an extraordinary contrast that there's no way someone could say, this is just some ordinary rap shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and our stories are the same, but different. And like, I wanted people to feel like this moment was something that they couldn't miss, you know what I'm saying? Because Nick's done songs with other people and it's like, oh, he did another song. He did another song with Fly Anakin. Oh, he did another song like Ghost was fucking fire. It's like, oh, he did another song with Fly Anakin. Okay. He did one with Flexico. Like, nah, man, like every time we all sit down and we do this shit, we're creating something out of nothing. And somehow motherfuckers think that shit is something that you can just be like, oh, that's some regular shit. It's not some regular rap shit. You know what I'm saying? Like motherfuckers are taking their time in their life and applying themselves in a way that certainly might be seen as music and art, but it's much more than that. It's an extension of our experiences and who we are. So like, you know, to me, that ties into what you're asking about exactly, as far as like, you know, people are so scared sometimes to be seen as extraordinary that they pretend to be ordinary. And sometimes people are so afraid of being ordinary that they pretend to be extraordinary.
Oh, yeah, I love it. Yeah, I've never even thought like, yeah, people are afraid to be extraordinary and do downplay it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So, and then let's go to 10 Commandments. That's the next track.
Yo, people like to ask me what's the best thing I can tell them about this shit. Check it. First off, nobody gives a fuck about you and your music. And those who do are more important than the music. Get on any platform, nigga streams don't pay. And by the time they do, you won't need my advice anyway. Number 2, never sleep on free game. It's worth more than anything these net pundits have to say.
That's my favorite track on the album. And rule number 10, I followed it the day the album dropped.
Over again.
I listened to, I did 4 times in a row on our drive down to Springfield. Obviously, I'm not much of a rule follower, but I was doing it because I really fucking love the track.
Yeah.
Were there any rules that didn't make the cut?
I don't think so. It was more so like, see, that was a really fun. Okay, I'll tell you this. The rules that didn't make the cut on that record were procedural and in the way that I created it. So like I write about 80% of the song that I recorded, you know what I'm saying? And that's what comes up with the last 20% because it's a lot of addition by subtraction and things like that happen. And so when I was structuring it, I figured I would record it one way. And I kind of instead ended up doing different things with it. So like a lot of my studio rules kind of got thrown out the window for that one. I don't do that often. The one on Obliv, the one, What Will It Take, that joint I did with Obliv called Good, that was another one that I kind of abandoned some of my typical approach to writing and recording and kind of let it fall together. And when you do that, when you're doing that within the moment, it ends up coming out cohesive. And despite the fact that you can just deliver it, like I can do, like I've done it, I'm gonna do it next week. I can do the fucking song, but like the song as a recording is something else. And the way that it lives and sits and the length of the record is 1 minute and 39 seconds long, you know, and Dub at first was like, yo, should we get somebody else on this? Said why don't you do another verse? And I was like, no. I was like, it's not just like my ode to 10 crack commandments. It's also like these rules are enough to get you at minimum where I am. And that's why I talk about the streams. Like by the time they do, it won't matter any fucking way. You know what I'm saying? Because you'll be in another place by the time that you're relying on, or that you can consider stream sustainable income. You won't need to be fucking with me. I might be looking at you at that point. You know what I'm saying? And I'm real enough in life to say I'm going to learn from everyone. And that's always the rule. And that's why like I start with appreciation, you know what I'm saying, and gratitude in that song. Because, you know, nobody gives a fuck about any of us. You know what I'm saying? It's a choice. You know what I'm saying? And people chase, when you release an album, you're dealing with the constant fucking thing of, how are we going to release that? What's the rollout going to be like? What influencer pages, or do we spend money on ads? All this fucking shit, man.
Yeah.
And we're so hyper focused on the reverse approach, you know, like of platform, that we end up taking for granted the fact that at the end of the day, this music is meant to be consumed by human beings. It's not like a Def Clock album that's made for fish. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking made for people. And despite the fact that you want to put it on the biggest billboard and on the biggest fucking shelf or whatever it is, at the same time, it's still best experience on an individual basis.
Yeah.
And so like for me, that's where that record started. And that's always the rule, to a fault. Like I'm not somebody who's spending X amount of dollars on something that's going to give me, like, for instance, you can do a YouTube ad campaign and you can somehow manipulate your way to 10K, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, what does that change? It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change how much one person enjoys your record. It might make somebody look at it, but at the same time, does it really improve your art? And does it increase your rapport? Does having 50,000 followers make you more connected with somebody? If anything, it makes you more distant.
Yeah.
And, you know, most of the people who are doing things, I think in this independent era, they're the people in the 10,000 or 20,000 follower bracket of artistry who have 100 dedicated people. You know what I'm saying? 100 dedicated people to audiences that are into their shit and are going to buy their shit versus just being like, oh, I'm going to stream it. I streamed your album. Like a motherfucker will think they did you a favor because they streamed your album once.
I know.
They just don't, yeah.
I mean, and it's cool. Like, I appreciate the fact. And that's the thing is I appreciate that you streamed my shit. But at the same time, like, I just wish there was another logical step for you to take.
Yeah.
That didn't involve me having to sell my shit to you.
Yep.
And to me, I think that it's a conversation. That's the thing. If you streamed my shit, the real favor is to hit me up and tell me what you thought of it.
Yeah.
You know, like you have access to all the music in the world for $10, whatever it is a fucking month. You don't even have to pay for it. You have access to all the music in the world. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers don't know about news groups and IRC and shit. You know what I'm saying? What it used to take back in the day to get music like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
They have no idea about an FTP era. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, these people now, you can't hold that against them, but you have to sometimes even by force try to guide them in that way. And you have to be upfront and say this. And a lot of times they're going to feel a certain way. Oh, I followed you. And it's like, yeah, you follow me. The algorithm, if it doesn't present my content to you, despite the fact that you follow me, and if you don't engage it within the first few days of following me in the first place, I'm going to disappear into the obscurity of whatever it is that's, you know, currently carrying more of the weight. And so it's like, what are we listening to? Are we listening to the artist? Or are we listening to Spotify? You know,
right.
or Apple Music or whatever platform you're on? Because they talk about on-demand mechanicals or on-demand royalties and stuff like that. But the thing is that if in an era where choice is eliminated by a bigger choice, as in a platform, it comes at the expense of discovery. And I don't think that we live in an era where humans are discovering music with each other much anymore, except in small pocket communities. And so we've been pushed for the last decade to try to become as big as possible. And now you see that a lot of the major artists who had that push were able to ride that top shelf. Now they're coming down and they're like, I'm being independent. I'm independent. Yeah. And it's like, no, motherfucker, you realize now that era of it is dead. So now you're going to come through, just like when we were trying to reach your place. Now you're going to come through and fuck our shit up when you were dissing us the entire time, you know?
That's fucking obnoxious.
Yeah, and that's what they do. It's people do the indie plant thing, but it's really more so like they say, oh, it's an indie plant, Dolce's an indie plant. No, what it is, I mean, industry plant, what it is that motherfuckers just want to, at the end of the day, there's business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people want to succeed. They want to have a chance to get ahead. But like, you end up stuck in a situation where the competitiveness cannibalizes the purpose of this. But to those people, a lot of it is that, you know, for them, it is money. You know what I'm saying? But for us, people who've been building small communities and small niches of audiences and shit like that, for us, it's a bigger purpose and meaning to it. And we're constantly, when we get to our best, we're constantly pushed to make the sacrifice to eat our fucking art and shit it out as a product to people and be like, hey guys, every day with the fucking selfie video. Hey guys, today we're going to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and I'm going to play my song. Like, what the fuck is that, man? You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Oh, it's such a bummer. It's so sad to see it happen too.
Nobody wants to be doing it.
Yeah,
or
no
some
one
people
wants.
do, but mostly
But
they don't.
I don't even know. Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
And we're all stuck doing it.
You get caught up in the trap.
It's the fucking worst. And the reason why is because at some point something works. And you'd be like, why did I get 60,000 views from my peanut butter and jelly sandwich video?
Yeah.
You know, it's like you could do a fucking whole video or post about like something real in life. And then you fucking do this PBJ video and you're like, hey guys. And for some reason, and it's like the system is mocking you. It's like, I want to gut you as much as possible so that I can use you and whore you out. And also just kind of spread you out into the most general emotions, you know, of the anger, lust, and humor, you know, like I'm going to do something to you and I'm going to categorize you in these larger fucking audiences or categories or criteria. And, you know, the audience out there, they're not even thinking this way because at the end of the day, you're just something that you're a crouton on their shit salad. Yeah. You know, you're not even the fucking dressing, you know, you're a crouton being sprinkled in.
And that goes to your point about the 100 people who follow you for your music. Those are really the only ones that matter. The rest of it's all just noise.
Yep. It's all just noise. And it's like, hey, it's nice to see you guys. Hey guys, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's brutal, man. And it'll make you hate all of this if you let it. And one of my commitments from the very start of releasing this project and working on it with Dub was I told him I wanted to enjoy this because I've put myself in that headspace before where I just hate it. And while I do hate every day logging on in my social media shit, because I don't read my timeline anymore. I check my DMs like once a week. And despite being like, it may seem like, you're always on your phone. The thing that I spend the most of my phone typically on is fucking writing. And when I'm scrolling it, and I stopped doing social media for news, I've tried to go back to reading websites and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so I like to keep track of video games and the nightmarish political landscape we have going on in the world right now. But I'm not big in following, in fucking scrolling through. If I find out about somebody, I'm going to do an assessment. And I'm gonna do an investigation. I'm gonna go through their posts and look for the consistent thread, and then I'm gonna add it into my mind and move on. But because I started to get really depressed whenever I get on social media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of people do, and we'll get to that when we come to a specific song too. Mm-hmm. The next song, "People Person," that's featuring Slug.
Yeah,
I guess this may be the third or fourth time, maybe even more, that you've collabed with Slug on a track.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, pretty good, man. Thanks for asking.
I'm not a people person, but people, they tend to love me. Even though I know they judge me, they hug me and say I'm lucky. I try to tell myself that there's something, is really nothing. But if this is all there is, then I'm missing something, it must be. I never was cool, I never was popular. I was a fat kid with glasses.
What is the process, speaking of still on this song, what is the process of working on a track like this as far as getting Slug to write specifically for the track? I'm asking for a friend.
Okay. Well, the way that it happened in this situation, me and Slug, we've always that's family, you know what I'm saying? So like we've always had this thing, but still getting him to fucking get on a song with me after me being on Pressed, for instance, or like their next thing, I have a little magic moment, I believe. But like getting him to get on a song had to be meaningful. And at the same time, I wanted it to be an opportunity. And one of the things that I've always really respected and been inspired by is the fact that Slug believes in sunshine. You know, when he does a show, he'll talk about how like, you're going to see me and I'm going to do sunshine because like people fucking need this. And it can't always be heavy, dark shit. We need to be reminded about this side of it, you know? And he's always poked at me and been like, oh, you're a funny dude, man, but your sense of humor is never in your record. You know, like you're like a fucking superhero, you know what I'm saying? And that was one of the main things that I really wanted to challenge on this record, was being more human. And because I realized that people do have this like pro wrestler, superhero for like perception of me for some reason beyond my understanding. But I think it's probably because I'm a very extreme person when it comes to a lot of shit. And I'm hyper disciplined in being consistent about things that I do in my work ethic and how I present my social media, how I tell my story, all these things, and especially in my music as well. You know what the fuck you can get from me. Like Gucci Mane say, you know what I'm saying? You know what you're gonna get from me. But like for him then, coming up with something that was fun was my main thing. I was like, I want to have fun with Slug because I always have fun with him. And we always have fun. Even when we're talking about some serious, sad shit, it's always fucking fun. And so I was like, Dub was kicking around beats and shit, and he was like, you know what, I think this is the one. And then I was like, I want to make this hard for Slug and create a situation where it doesn't feel like a 16, instead it's a 12. And then I want to fucking make the topic be something that's kind of backwards, because this guy's rhymed about everything in life, but in his position, it's been a while since I've heard him talk about how he deals with, despite having a record like Traveling Forever, how do you deal with the people you're meeting every time, you know? Mm-hmm. And how do you deal with the fact that when I talk to him, he always wants to be at home with his family. So it's like, well, how do you deal with having to have these deep connected moments with people that you mean so much to? And how do you stay engaged in the mind state to where, you know, you want to make sure that they feel that appreciation from you, and that you do see it as more than transactional. And then how do I squeeze myself into that position when we're in two different tiers in a lot of ways, as far as touring goes, especially like he's in another stratosphere. And so it's like, how do I take my experience and make it to something that will inspire him to talk about his experience? Yeah. And so I came up with the fact that started with I'm not a people person, but people, they tend to love me, because I was like, yeah, we get unwanted affection all the time. You know what I'm saying? And then like I tried to reflect on the fact that he jokes about me. He's like, "You're still a fat kid." You know what I'm saying? He said that to me before. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna reflect on the fact that like to me, this is all super weird. Being popular, being perceived as cool, that shit, you know what I'm saying? It never made fucking sense to me. And when I first started, I used to look like a crazy homeless person. And people used to ask me, why you look homeless? He was in my old album, Lick State of Mind. There's a song called Fuck You. And I met a dude. And he was like, "Hey man, look, I just want to ask you, cuz, like, yo, why you look like you homeless?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, how do you perceive me to be as homeless? Why do you look like you have money when you don't?" You know what I'm saying? Like, like these are the sorts of things, but people perceive you and they have a license to when you exist in a public space.
Yeah.
And whether you accept or acknowledge or fight their opinion depends upon how much poison from society you're willing to internalize versus your belief in self. And I think that as an artist, Slug is a massive representation of self-belief and self-development. If you look at, you know, just like how they did tour with Imagine How Much Fun We're Having, you look at that record and the passion that it represents, but also the pacing of the delivery and the personality of the person who's a sharper wit, a much more confident, a much more dangerously self-aware person. Whereas now he's a very welcome, self-aware. I want you to be more self-aware. It's not that he was necessarily trying to push people into a space of stupidity or of ignorance previously, but he's willing to make space for them to interpret themselves and reflect in his music. And so in doing this record that's supposed to be fun, yet cover all these things, I tried to talk about my past and then my present and then what it's like to sit down. Like when I did the thing I'm talking about with the lady that was fucking gross, that was in all places. That was actually in a veterans hall. We did a show in Long Island in New York. We played a show, me and my band, random ass show, and we were doing our East Coast tour. We got put on this show the last fucking minute because our Philadelphia gig fell through and some more shit. And so we're in this fucking weird ass place. And ironically, I didn't even think about this yet, but there was a guy there that reminded me of Slug.
Oh, wow.
And he was in a band. I was like, this guy's like a little fucking emo Slug. Holy shit. Yeah, emo hardcore Slug. I forgot all about that. But after our set, and that was a night where I decided to really experiment with pushing people, both literally and figuratively. Oh. And so, you know, to Sweat Fest and, you know, I look how I look versus how everybody else looks. So it's already like, I can tell that they're looking at me. And I was like, let's be vulgar, because that's one of the cool parts about doing hardcore music is you can be vulgar in different ways, and it's like funny and it's fun. And so I was like, you know, and anything to spark a conversation to get the people to the table, you know. And so I was at the end of the set, I was like, you know, you come over to the fucking table, I might let you get some of my sweat. And like broads lined up for that shit. And that shit made me super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I said it. Now I have to do it. And so I stood there and the most awkward shit was this chick like standing there and like being like, oh, I want your sweat. And then this fucking, she had this guy take our picture and it was her boyfriend. And I was like, what is this? And then like when they leave, are they going to go home and have a fight about the fact that this happened? But then why did you take the picture, dude?
Yeah.
You know, it was just really, really fucking weird. And that was a moment that really like made me think scalable, no matter where you are in the game, things like this happen to you. And you have to figure out, you have to delve back into your whole like, all right, I'm going to shift ego. I'm going to not make this predatory. And I'm going to come to a place of appreciation and respect, even though this really feels like some disrespectful shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the challenge for Slug was to follow after that. And I was wondering whether or not he would contextually see that lyric being the end of the verse, whether it would be a challenge for him to come through with something respectful, or if he felt like I was being negative and diminishing the value of these people who decided to come to this show and chose me, of all people, to stand and take this picture, was sweaty and gross or not. And it was so funny to watch him when that happened, like that whole little like little pause. He was like, hey, come here, all that shit. None of that was there. Before, I wanted, the challenge was for him to go straight in, because I wanted the song to be quick, but not too short, but also long, like 2 minutes and 21 seconds or so. It was kind of like the vibe I was thinking. And I wanted him to come in and talk his shit. And instead, he wrestled with that creatively. There's several versions of the song where he did different intros and shit like that and different things, and how he tried to mess around with it until he finally came with this brilliant thing. And then Dub was like, I'm going to add this to it. And I watched them go back and forth in emails, and I stayed the fuck out of it, because at this point I stopped thinking about this shit. You know what I'm saying? But like, I just wanted to see how he'd react to that challenge. And he like, he came exactly, you know what I'm saying? And I love the line about how, you know what I'm saying, he wanted to be in control of how people perceive me, but reflections go the opposite direction of the TV. Like, to me, that is so him. And I was so happy when I heard his verse. Yeah. And I got to play that song for my mom the first time I got to play it when he was still experimenting with it was in the parking lot of the rehab facility my mom was in at that time, because I was literally going to the rehab place and or I'd get up, work out, you know, go to the rehab place, or I'd get up, I'd go to rehab, come back, I'd write a song or write part of it or something, record it, make a rough ass, whatever, just do it quick and fast. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the best, because I don't re-record. So it's like, yo, I'm laying this shit down, then I'm out. And I go back, and sometimes I get a mix or something for like a rough mix, and I got it that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of shit. So when I hear that song, I think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and other moments attached to that shit. But it's like, you know, hearing him come on that song for the first time, I was like, holy shit. Like, you know, even though he was still like, I'm not sure about this start of the verse, I was like, yo, the fact that he cares enough, it means so much to me. And it's a fun record.
Yeah, and that it plays. You wouldn't imagine any of that because it sounds so natural. That song and him on that song plays so natural. Sage has lurked. Sage has waited for his moment for the lurk. Probably. I don't know what he lurked. I don't know.
Oh, he's been hanging on.
Yeah, if this is a live chat, he's been waiting for his time to ask Black's question.
Okay.
But yeah, let's get Sage's social media lurk brought to us by Strange Famous Records.
Sage Francis, social media alert.
BlackLiq. What's up, homie? Hey, when I lurk people that I know in person, I prefer to go through our oldest emails. And you were emailing me in 2016 before we didn't know each other. And you were incredibly cordial. You were asking for radio edit tracks for your college radio show. And of course, our relationship evolved from there. I was like, these emails aren't juicy. So I start going through your Instagram, and of course, like on Twitter and Instagram and every social media site you're on, it's boom, 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 gem, 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 shooting pearls at you. And but then I noticed that your Instagram feed, when you look at the layout, there's a row on the left side where it's all screenshots of your tweets. And then it turns into the middle. It's a row of your screenshotted tweets. And then on the right side, a row. So it's like you curated your Instagram feed, which I didn't know that was a thing, except for photographers who like do the like puzzle piece, big giant photo using a bunch of photos. Anyway, I was like, man, that's like a curated garden on Grow a Garden. It made mine feel so messy. And I know you're a gamer, but you're not on Roblox. I just want to show you how serious I am about my Grow a Garden game. That's right. The rest of the internet can shut the fuck up about my gardens now. There's real ones and there's fake ones. Anyway, the Instagram post that started off that whole curation said, that pile of things that you're pushing down isn't meant to be stood upon. Something like that. But I think about it, I'm like, man, I pushed all that stuff down. I'm gonna stand on that shit. I'm gonna stand on it. Anyway, I wanted to know when you came to the conclusion that you could curate your garden on Instagram. And what am I supposed to do with all the things that I pushed down? Love you. I love DOD45. Strange Famous. Out.
There you go. What do you?
So, yo, that's some funny shit. So, number one, the reason why all the shit that you push down, you know, when you bury your treasure, you're hiding the best part from yourself. You know, buried treasure isn't worth anything until you dig it up. You know, but like at the same time, the realest treasure is the gems and experiences and love that you can share with each other. It's not a thing that's tangible. It's a Roblox garden. The reason why I that's fucking funny as shit. So one of the hardest things for me right now, like I haven't done my post today for the album. One of the hardest things for me right now is that I broke, and I just started doing affirmations again. And I broke the structure of my timeline on Instagram because that was my way of presenting those thoughts in hopes that somebody would lurk one day and look at it and see that I was organizing my thoughts. And that was a technique that I used to force myself to post on social media. So it would be picture, tweet. And at one moment it was tweet, picture, tweet. Like I've experimented with different ratios because it's exhausting to think of things, of images to post when my mind is constantly talking to me. And it was always helpful for me to stop and say to myself, what the fuck are you supposed to be saying to someone else? Because what you're saying to yourself applies to everyone else if it's truly universally applicable, if it's the truth. And so I would stop myself, and one of the things I'd be burying is my truth. You know, so I'd be standing on like, yeah, I know these things about myself, truths that are self-evident, but how are they self-evident? How can you have a revelation if you deprive yourself and everyone else of the epiphany? You know? Yeah. And so, you know, the revolution won't be televised. It'll be streamed in this era. So like, I fucking, I came up with the idea of organizing my Instagram posts like that because I got tired of people telling me that I needed content. What I need to be is content. And yo, the crazy shit is that Sage just liked my fucking Threads post. That's weird. But fucking like for him to see that is funny. The only other person who's ever noticed that is Windy Day, Rap Coalition. Only a person who's ever called me out on that. And the only other person I've ever seen do it is Biggs Burt. Yeah, so
that's a good thing. Well, thank you, Sage Francis.
That's more of your discipline.
Yeah, that's right. It's discipline.
Even on your socials.
Yes, that's the only way I could do it is to make it. Because my to-do list, when I was taking care of my mom, my to-do list daily was 27 to 42 items long.
Yeah.
Wow.
And every day, mercilessly. And when I shot the video with D and with BC for Falling Down, the thing I remember most is the horrified looks on their faces. Because they saw that this entire time I'd been doing these things and they didn't know. I didn't ask anybody for help, you know? They didn't know that I was cleaning peg tube sites, you know, and cleaning wounds, doing wound care, and that I was crushing and grinding medications and doing blood pressure checks and making purees and fucking, you know, having these conversations with my mom and seeing who they've seen my mom be and seeing where sometimes that person disappears for a second, you know, and the dementia shows up. Like they had never seen it. And I saw them start to see it. And like, they were like, what? Like when I pulled out the arsenal of stuff, because at that time I had the small couch that held all the medical shit. When I pulled it out and piled it up and I fucking put it there, you know, that shit, I'll never forget the looks on their fucking faces, bro. That shit was like, and I was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? That I really can't wait for people to see that video. And so like, when you're going through stuff like that and you're headed towards it, and, you know, your life before that is the way mine was, period. You know, how do you convince yourself every day that I'm going to post content? Well, you make it part of your to-do list and you don't make it about you, but you make it for you. It's like art.
All right, here we go. Let's bang out the rest of the album, then I'll go to those questions.
Okay.
Gunmetal Black.
Yeah.
My first groupie used to fuck anywhere. I treated her like shit just to prove I didn't care. I'd embarrass her. Run game, I get creative. As a man, I recognize most of that was self-hatred. I'm fucked up. I ain't good at relationships. The only way I know it's love is if I hate the bitch. Sacrifices.
When you call out someone sleazy like Harvey in a song, does that bring up anything personal for you? Like, I've got a similar thing. There's a person who stirs up all sorts of emotion and shit in me, but I can't even bring myself to draw his dumb face. I don't want to give him the space in my head. But is it similar for you when you choose to name someone directly in a track?
I feel like people sometimes will, just like as you see with the Diddy verdict, for instance, people will excuse something based on who did it, and they'll also think that the thing is acceptable if we don't know who did it. But then there's also that third category of like, you're a really bad dude, you know what I'm saying? That's a really bad person. I was like, who's the worst fucking person? So like, I wanted to pick evil. And, you know, that's one of the people. It's like, for me, it went back to like X is Coming For You. Like, he does that song and it's like, if you got a daughter and she's under the age of 15, I'm gonna rape her, take her. Like, X didn't ever want to do no shit like that. But he said when he was asked to write that record, they were like, we want you to say the most wild, negative, violating ass shit possible. And so that's the place I felt like I could take that liberty in talking about, you know, saying darker chapters of my own existence and put that in there.
How does that title relate in the track, the Gunmetal Black?
Oh, and so that song, I didn't want to do it because it was so negative. And so I did the first verse and I was like, man, I told Dub, I was like, I don't want to do this song because I'm just saying a bunch of negative shit. I feel like I'm going backwards when I've worked so hard to not be this person anymore. And like, I don't want to be that person or even bring that person. And it makes me feel like that person, you know? And he was like, no, man, you gotta go, man. You gotta push it. And I was like, I'm just gonna dumb out on this thing because he pushed for it. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna do this one for him. And so the gunmetal aspect was like, because it was called, I think, Gunmetal at first was the name of the beat. And so I said the black at it. And then it turned out that there was an A$AP Rock sample that he knew of. I didn't know about that shit. But like the second verse was me taking it even further. And that's why I say like I prefer the violence, probably to hurt myself. You know what I'm saying? They say killers move in silence, but through this I share the wealth. You know what I'm saying? Like that second verse was kind of me then taking the negativity that I was giving that was self-inflicted and the self-hatred and reversing that and trying to use it in a productive element, but still being like honest about the fact that like a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? If I'm at a school, I'm telling the kids as best that I can, like, you don't want to end up like this. Like I tell people all the time, you shouldn't, like when it comes to sobriety and stuff, you shouldn't have to stop drinking. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have to stop smoking or anything. Like a lot of people benefit, and most of us do, from moderation, but moderation is nothing more than another form of balance. And I think that one of the most unattractive things about me as a person is the extreme that I go to stop. But like, you know, that shit, it's like, yo, I should be able to enjoy things. And somehow I've put myself in a position in life where I've robbed myself of that. And doing that song brought all that to the forefront and made me feel like that. And I was like, fuck, man, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to do this song. But then Dub was like, do the song, man, do the song. And I did it because it's like, I don't want to ruin shit for people around me, you know?
Well, I'm glad you did the song.
How do you feel about having done the song after the fact?
I mean, for me, like I had to shoot a video for it. And so I had to say my first groupie over and over again, you know? Like I had to the video came out amazing, but it'll come out soon. But like I had to accept that creating a statue is better than being the statue.
Yeah.
So I'll make a monument to this negative aspect and era of myself. But the difference is that statue is a crystallization. And I'm a growing, living human being that is trying my best to be a better person.
Well, so now we'll go on to traumatized.
Yeah.
It's not my fault that I'm like this. Once upon a time when I was just a little kid, I was on my way to school. This was up in Michigan, or maybe Massachusetts. Either way, the day was cold. The ground was covered in that perfect kind of snow. See, it really wasn't wet, it really wasn't dry. The plows had that shit piled up sky high. So of course I had to stop just to take them time to play. A snow day ain't the type of thing.
So trauma, are they hurdles or stepping stones?
The opportunities.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Because you have pain and trauma, all those things, they make you choose. And you can either choose to travel the path that you've gone down before, which could internally be reflection or externally be projection, and anger and resentment. You can hold that poison in, but you by skipping the skipping stone is the fact that, or the stepping stone is that a lot of times trauma turns into resentment. Resentment is a poison that we have to take. Poison only works if you take it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like those things, at first it can seem like, oh, I got through this, I got through that. But then it's also like, I built with this. I built like my rock bottom, you know what I'm saying? It's my foundation, you know what I'm saying? But like at the same time, it's true. I think the truth is the opportunity. It's the opportunity to be more. Like that movie Constantine, the Keanu Reeves shit. Yeah, the Keanu. At the end when he's having a talk with Gabriel, I believe, and the angel is telling him about how like humanity sucks, but humanity is great only when it's at its bleakest. When humanity is almost gone. So the goal wasn't to destroy humanity, but to make humanity by destroying it. Everything humanity could be. It was borderline to shift the devil's advocate. It was like satanic in the sense that Gabriel in this time was presenting itself as a humanist. And a lot, like you read the Satanic Bible, they talk about humanism and shit like that, So like that's the whole ecosystem of trauma that you carry with you. And then you somehow in life, I believe, if you can pick something up, the only reason you can is so that you can put it down. Because what happens is that life, whether you want to call it God, the universe, or whatever, when you carry all this shit with you, when life gives you the thing that you want, or that you need, the thing that you've been looking for and carrying all this shit for, as they say in Elden Ring and whatnot, or in Elder Scrolls or whatnot, you'll be over encumbered. You won't be able to carry it because your hands are full of this shit already. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like you have to be willing to put things down. And at some point also by putting it down, then mentally, saying you have to figure out a way to let that shit go.
Oh, yeah. All right. To falling down.
Mm-hmm.
This shit is getting harder every day. They said it's on set to mention lots of things about the change. And all they had are pamphlets with questions without answers. At least it is a cancer. I guess it's time to pray. Okay. It's kind of like a lens. Once you get a diagnosis, you see everything within. The frame that you've been placed, the symptom for the case. I'm good at reading.
Failure, surrender, or spiritual?
It's about surrendering to the fact that you're failing so that you can do something better, and using the spiritual aspect of that experience to keep you from giving up. That's why I never hit the ground, because I'm falling down. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could hit the fucking ground so I could maybe figure out where the fuck I am in this shit. But right now, all I'm doing is falling. It's hard to stick the landing when you've had to hit the ground. You know what I'm saying? I would love to just let go. Right now, I'm falling down.
Yeah, I love it. Hard to stick the landing if you're not even hit the ground.
Yeah. And at the same time, I'm not even hanging on to shit. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, it'd be so much easier for me to be like, I'm letting go. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, boom. But instead, I've just found myself where the ground has been taken out from underneath me. And I'm just in a perpetual fucking fall.
Oh, I do want to ask you, because in the track you talk about making soup. What kind of soup you making?
Oh, yo, so this is the thing. My mom, the diet got super weird, right? No pun intended with the soup. And at one point before that, like it was soup and mashed potatoes. After that, it's cake and coffee. I'm okay, but not okay. So like I would go into the kitchen, and what I was trying to do was find ways to enrich or to infuse different aspects of things. So my mom, when we found out she was aspirating because she couldn't even eat fucking soup. And we went to the eye doctor, and we went to the eye doctor and fucking, I had this random confrontation with this person because this is how it played out. This is how my mind works. So we went to the eye doctor. We were parking. This person was fucking trying to park too. I thought they were done parking. They weren't. And so I went around them, and then they honked at me. And I was like, you motherfucker. And I was like, I'm going to kill you with kindness. And because we went into the same fucking building. So what I did was we got all checked in and I went and talked to the guy. And I was like, hey, man, I was like, yo, you honked at me and I just want to apologize. And everybody in the doctor's office was watching this shit, like tall black dude talking to older white guy. And I'm like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to demystify all this shit. I'm going to fuck up everything you ever thought about anybody like who looks like me. And I was like, yo, I just want to say, you know what I'm saying? I feel like if we're going to anonymously encounter each other, it should not be based on a negative interaction when I made an incorrect assumption about what you were doing with your parking. So I just want to say apologize and reintroduce myself, and hopefully we can turn that negative into a positive interaction in the randomness of life. And he looked at me like, what the fuck? And his wife was sitting there watching like, what is this? You know? And I was like, take care.
You just flipped his world.
Yeah, I had to, yo. I couldn't resist it. So that happened. Then we had the fucking excruciating appointment with Dr. Michaels, who's the most exuberant optometrist ever. Always excited about everything. Speaks like he's fucking in a corporate meeting without a microphone. And then we fucking went back to the counter. This guy was trying to push up on the nurse, not the nurse, on the secretary, and fucking he was like, yeah, I'm from New York and I do a production company. And he was like talking about how his friends had a song with Pastor Troy or something. And he was flashing his Instagram and all this shit. And it was just like, nigga, he was talking about how old he was and like acting like he still has like the power to give her some rock hard business. It was fucking weird. I'm like, dude, I'm with my mom. We're at the eye doctor. And you're talking all like in between the lines, sexy to this lady that's probably 20 years younger than me, or than you. It's fucking weird, dude. I don't need this. So after all that, in between those three things, my mom had been talking about how she wanted to get soup, wanted to get ramen. And that was where I discovered that she was hiding that she was choking on her food.
Oh, no.
And so that's when we went and got soup. We got ramen and she would choke on that. So then we started getting chicken noodle soup and home style chicken noodle and stuff. And I slowly became more and more aware that she was eating it and spitting it up, all this fucked up shit. And I would see it, you know? So eventually the soup ended up becoming blended. And then when it turned out that she could only eat like mashed potatoes, I would at least take the soup and I'd use it. I'd blend it and then I put it in the soup, into the instant mashed potatoes as like a base instead of just water to try to add a nutritional value to it.
Yeah.
So like, that's the soup story.
I also really love the line. I'll just say the line, and then we'll move on to Rockwood. But I fucking love the "my daughter is my parent."
Yeah,
line. That shit's deep. That's true stuff. That's stuff that people all in life.
Yeah, that's the circle, man.
I deal with. Yeah.
I don't talk about this time that often. I try to be an open book, but maybe I'm just trying to deny what happened instead of being honest. I promise to try to tell it like it happened. I wrote my first rhyme in my room, 1822, Rockwood Road. We moved from Man Avenue on my birthday to a house that had no power, so I stayed in flutes for showers.
All right, so Rockwood, is it a real place, metaphor, or both?
Real place. That's 1822 Rockwood Road in Henrico County, Virginia. Yo, they tore the house down, but you know what I'm saying? It's they got a new joint there. But yeah, that was the place, man.
Is it one of those situations when you go by there and it's now gone, is there any feelings there, or all of the feelings are all up in memory?
The night when one night I was just kind of like fuck, and we had gotten the mixes. And so I decided to ride around. My mom was passed out because she'd finally gotten out the rehab place. And we were feeding cats at that rehab place. She was pushing on me to feed the cats. And I needed to check the mixes. And I was like, I'm just going to drive over and over again to my project and listen to it to see what I think of these mixes. And I'm going to listen to Rockwood in front of Rockwood. And so I pulled up in front of it. And I sent Dub a picture of the Rockwood street sign. And I said, I'm out here battling demons. And he was like, save that, Black. You never know when we might need that. And like to me, it's very hard at all period to drive. I moved to the south side of Richmond and it's very hard for me to do anything in the West End. And, the Rockwood was the best place ever. But I realized like when I got that beat, like I started writing the concept, and going to the place. And that's why it's like, where in the start, it's kind of like I'm convincing myself because it's like I started. Like I rarely double up like that, but it was like I really had to force myself to write about that. And I didn't know that it was such an issue for me, but I realized in all my storytelling, I skipped that part of my life. I talk about my childhood and I talk about like my father's incarceration, but I never talk about that like high school era. And, why? You know what I'm saying? And so I decided to write about it and the things that happened and what that place was. because like on my birthday, I didn't get shit. And my dad literally told me, oh yeah, well son, this is your gift. You know what I'm saying? You got a new house. But it's like we moved from Man Avenue in the middle of the night to fucking Rockwood. We get there, there's no electricity. I got to go and stay at my Vietnamese brother, as we call him, Phu's house. I had to go stay at Phu's house because he has showers and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I got to stay over there. And then when I set my room up, I didn't know, like my room didn't have a door because I took the middle room, and I had a little futon bed and shit. And like, and I had a 13-inch KTV, you know, and then I got my computer and stuff in there. Like it was where I grew up, man.
Yeah.
You know, like I'd been waiting my whole life since 5th grade when I felt like my childhood ended. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been waiting for this real formative moment where I was really going to finally grow up. And that was the place where I became an adult.
Did you discover an answer to why you had never written about it?
I think that when you're a superhero, you get used to telling the same origin story.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe like at that time, I really was like, you know, I'm going to cut myself all the way open for this and just see what happens, because I need this is therapy. And Dub responded when I said that to him and said, this is a real heavy song, man. And at one point it was the album title song, but then like, you know, things changed. But it was really like, it was really, really hard to figure out why I skipped that so much. And also why it is that I feel like, when that time is so important, maybe I didn't want to give it to people, because that's one of the most, that's like, that it's, if anybody in my life, you know, those were the days. People always say that shit. For me, I guess those were the days.
Yeah.
You know, like
that makes sense.
There was a certain thing, like there was a certain air that existed that doesn't exist. And one of the crazy things, the last thing I'll say is one of the crazy things is that Westport, the place my mom was at, was a block over. It was 2 blocks over from Rockwood. So I used to have to, it was like you go up Skipwith Road, it goes down, and that's where the entrance to Westport is. It goes up and you can turn right there. And if you just ride that road, it loops into Rockwood. So like it was literally right there. And so standing in the parking lot, because I used to push my mom in the parking lot all the time, like standing there, I could just feel and smell the air of that time. Yeah. And we used to talk about it all the time, like me and her, because she could feel it too.
Yeah.
And, you know, and the crazy part too is my dad, when he was in one of his modes, he fucking laid down in the street right in front of where Westport was and tried to get somebody to run him over. And nobody would do it. Ironically, nobody would do it. And like people, I had to watch him lay in the street and try to get somebody to convince him to run him over. And people would just pull up and beep their horn or put their hazards on and shit. And that was one of those nights that led into a big fight at Rockwood. I think that was the night he and my brother got into a fight in the front yard, and then Frank, or whatever his name was, from across the street came over crying. So, well, that's your dad. And my brother and him, and like my brother and my dad's relationship was so different than mine. But like my brother got on top of him and he was like, I used the project nigga technique on you, because he pulled my dad's shirt over his face and like, you know, and touched him real quick. And he was like, yeah, I got you. And like they laughed about it, you know. But that was a night where I told them, you guys, when you drink, you're the same person.
Yeah.
And how is that possible? You know, I didn't really, you know, my brother, my dad is not my brother's father. And yet, how would you know? I didn't even know until they didn't tell me until I was like 18, some change, some shit. You know what I'm saying? I just always assumed, oh, he's my brother. Yeah. But yeah, they're the same fucking person when they get in those places. And my brother got a different upbringing, just period, from the different expectations in the presence of my dad. But Rockwood is all those things, you know. Rockwood is a, you know, the fucking police searching the house type shit. And just all the different things that went on in that house forever, you know what I'm saying? Like all the great moments too, you know, all the cookouts and shit like that. Like today is my dad's birthday, actually, and tomorrow is my mom's birthday. And this would have been, in that time, this would have been a cookout day, or tomorrow would have been a cookout. My dad would have, because my dad, you know, I was telling my wife, like my dad, he wanted family at times where he'd pushed family away.
Yeah.
And it created this friction, especially when we were even younger, you know, like we go fishing and it'd be negativity. But as an adult, things would happen. And you know, you try to make the best of it. You know what I'm saying? We smoke some weed and some shit, you know what I'm saying? And kind of bring the unity back. But like, you know, if he got drunk, shit got weird, you know what I'm saying? And like there was that weird beef, but it was also like, I think my dad sometimes wanted to celebrate or be celebrated, but he forgot what he was celebrating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's heavy. That's good. Yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah. All right, me too.
I mean, right? It must be nice. The scent of suntan lotion, the sound of the ocean, calm commotion. A day without the pressure to do and be better. Someone to spend your time with. I match effort even though I know I'm no better. I entertain the drain and strain between the now and never.
No relation to the hashtag Me Too
Not
phrase.
at all.
Am I wrong? Yeah.
Nah, no big deal.
It's like a purpose narrative flip, maybe. But navigating social media, we talked about that. It's a real issue, and it's good to hear someone like yourself speak on it because I think people think it's trivial or something. I don't know, but you speak really well about it, especially in the song, and I think it's a song that everyone will relate to. But we did speak already a little bit about, unless you wanted to say something else about this.
I mean, the only thing I'll say is that the idea for the video came from the fact that this guy that we'd done booking with, he flaked on us or whatever happened in his life. I don't fucking know. I don't care.
Right.
We got our money back. So we fucking, I was walking because I was in the middle, like I had a month to be back in Richmond to finish teaching kids before I came back up here. And which was a whole other thing. And I was walking though, and I was like, I looked at this vacant lot because a house got torn down in my neighborhood, and I was looking at it, and I was like, that's interesting. I was like, that's like a place a streamer would do something at or some shit. Like, it's just got to look. And I thought about it like, yo, I want to get really uncomfortable. So what if we just go somewhere and randomly and we shoot this rap video, but then we see, because back in the day, if you shoot a rap video in public, people are like, oh shit, hey, you know. And my thing was, I wanted to see if people wouldn't react. Because now streamer culture, it's so normal for somebody to stand there and NPC on the street or some shit, you know?
Yeah.
And it was a very interesting experience to see. Like, we got more response from people in traffic than we did on the blog.
Yeah.
And so like, and BC and you know, D's helped too. Like, those are my brothers, and BC's the best at videos, man. Like, I put him up there with fucking Gold Watch. And like, it was I told him in a text, man, I get ideas and I send a big text and I say, yo, blah, blah, blah. And this is what I think. What do you think of that? And he's like, fuck. And then BC would be like, fuck it, let's do it. And I love that because it's like, yo, you're a crazy person too. You know what I'm saying? And so,
mentality.
Yeah. And so we just put it down on the calendar, and I said, whatever it takes, just fucking do it, dude. And we went and did it, and it ended up coming out. It's one of my favorite videos I've ever done.
It's great. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And we just showed a clip of it right when I mentioned it, and now you should definitely go watch the whole video.
Yeah.
And then Much Given, Much Tested.
Yeah.
That's the title track. Where does the title come from?
Much given, much tested. Today my mother lost her false front teeth. I looked everywhere and I still can't find them. I broke down a bag of trash, sifted up her furniture. Nature made nurture, but time is a murderer. I come from a long line of knocked over dominoes. Want a rectangle, I could never be a square. My path has prepared every...
Yo, so this is a twofold thing. That song used to be called Today. You know what I'm saying? Because the day my mom lost her front teeth was the day that I wrote that song, for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, I journal and I do it through my music too. And so my mom, I mean, the thing is, man, it's like I woke up that day and my mom was in dire shorts or straights, whatever you call it, because she fucking, she had a bed accident of some sort. But she'd also, at the same time, she'd fucking somehow in the days of the dementia, she had she thinks she spit her teeth out in the sleep, and then she bagged them up with the trash that she was basically trying to conceal the accident from me with. So even if I found the teeth, they would not have been salvageable, because who knows what they would have been found in. And we looked everywhere for these fucking teeth. And I was devastated, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, yo, you know, this is, you've heard the tooth, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, this shit is fucking happening. And then, you know, at the same time, you know, my man Strick, that I've talked about a lot extensively, that died from an overdose of opiates, his brother Matt died. And, you know, I went to Matt's funeral, and my man Suit was supposed to go with me to that funeral. And then, you know, he couldn't last minute. We made a joke about, next time, you know what I'm saying? Like, because he had a suit that he always wore to a funeral too. And then Suit died. You know what I'm saying?
Jeez.
And so like all these things happen, and that song was another day, another tragedy. Shit keep happening, you know what I'm saying? But it was like I as a person, like Kanye West said, "I can't tell me nothing, much given, much tested," and that was the only part of that song I ever liked. And that's what came into my mind. And Dub, originally I wrote that song. Like I don't usually write to I only write I write a rhyme to a beat, right? So that rhyme belongs to that beat. I'm not a dude who writes rhymes. It's like, I'm gonna put it over this.
Right.
And so I hate it when somebody takes my vocals and puts it over a new beat. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit is really hard for me to do. Like Old Boy's album, for instance, I wrote it, that shit was completely to something else. And even though Moke did a great job at creating a new soundscape for it, it's unlistenable for me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I can make sense of that.
Because I would have wrote a different verse for that beat. I can hear the verse I would have wrote for that beat. So I can't listen to me and me at the same time. It's excruciating. I got a lot of synesthesia problems and shit. Can't deal with that. So like, you know, Dub though, I like he sent me a mix of the song and it had this cowbell thing that I was like, I couldn't hear that instrument in the rough version of the beat you sent me. And now it's all I hear. And if you don't, so like, fuck it, let's just throw the song away. And he wouldn't give up on the song. And so he reproduced it. He found a beat and he built on it and he kept doing all these little changes. Cause Dub, one of the things about him is that he's like Ant from Atmosphere. He's fucking beyond trilingual even. He speaks so many different languages of sound. Mm-hmm. And so he found a way to reproduce it and it became so strong that it became the album title song.
Oh wow.
So like to me that's while mistaken is me bothering him saying Dub, you know what I'm saying? Like and playing around with words like, you know, Sonata wears the beats, but it's also Sonata way, it's not a way to be. You know what I'm saying? Like I was playing around with the hook on that shit and that's like, yo, I'm trying to holler at you. And then you have the album title song that is really us like merging. It's a symbiosis.
Yeah. All right. The rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
The rhythm is the life. The life is the rhythm. The rhythm is the life. The life is the rhythm. The rhythm is the life. The life is the rhythm. Get up to get down.
Rewarding, like calisthenics early in the morning. I would probably kill myself if I couldn't keep on recording. This shit is better than any stray piece of pussy. It's peace of mind.
This is crazy. So, well, not crazy. It was crazy for me. I just discovered this morning that's Michael Allen singing on the on that hook. Yeah. I had no clue until this morning. You both share a deep respect for your mothers, or at least it appears so when on your social media sharing and stuff. And by the way, R.I.P. to Michael's mother. Yeah, but I thought that to be really interesting. Yeah,
she passed.
Michael,
You want to hear some crazy shit?
Yeah,
is that Falling Down was originally a Michael Alien. It was a beat for him.
Oh,
and I didn't know about his mom's situation then. And I was like, duh, let me get this fucking beat, bro. Because he hollered at him, and I was in my mistaken mode. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And I was like, let me get the fucking beats, man. And holler at Mike, and it turned out he wasn't doing it. So Dub was like, go ahead and do it. And I ended up writing a song about my mom. And then I found out that his mom was aspirating, doing the same exact, dealing with the same thing. And tragically, she didn't make it, man. You know what I'm saying? And like that fucking song, that song Falling Down, ironically, that was his beat. And then for the rhythm, the Dub originally just had that beat with the random vocal shit on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was gonna be like, we'll Posse Cut it. Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to put two of us on it? Do you want it to be three? And we went back and forth, and we decided not to add another MC. I wrote that verse at like 4 a.m. in 15 minutes. I came back from I'd been up and I'd seen my mom and shit, and I came back, I think, and then he sent the beat. And typically I don't like listen until I'm gonna write, but I was like, let me see what this beat is real quick. And I heard it and I was like, oh, there it is. I heard the verse. And so I had to go write it and record it. And I did that shit. And he was like, yo, what the fuck was this, man? What is this? Where did this come from? You know what I'm saying? But like the symmetry of that verse, I love that. And I love what Napoleon brought to it. I love the energy the energy is like electricity of Michael. And then Napoleon stepped way out of his traditional pocket for that shit. He gave me a little lyrical nod, and he went, and again, just like Slug, you know what I'm saying, just like Nick, you know what I'm saying, like they went to a different place versus their traditional sound and their traditional vocabulary and rhythm. on a song called The Rhythm, and he gave us something really special.
And that's testament to you that they go out of their way to give you something special.
And I did not expect that at all.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, success.
Mm-hmm.
My life is about earning and learning. I only go forward, I won't be returning. On me I depend, it's me over them. This is revenge. I never fit in, but that didn't matter. It's not what I'm after. I pay no attention, I need no permission. This world is much bigger than Richmond. I had to look past it. They only looked at it. They became addicts.
Success is often packaged but rarely felt. How do you define success today?
Success is I know I'm succeeding when I feel like I'm failing. Like,
oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's my mind. So like people look at you and they're like, oh, you're successful, and you have imposter syndrome perhaps and shit like that. But I mean, success whittles down, like I've always had one of my dreams of randomness has been, I want to meet Jay-Z. And instead of asking Jay-Z, yo, what kind of advice or whatever the fuck people want to ask him, I just want to ask him, how has success's definition changed over your experience in life? Yeah. And just to hear how many different versions of it he has, because I have a feeling that as he goes through and peels that onion, it'll go from a place of tangibility and adulation to nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that being unburdened by a lot of this shit, you know what I'm saying? When you can make music and you can be a public person and you can be successful and you can have money, when you can no longer have fear of losing those things, that's when you're really experiencing success, because it's just like power. The moment somebody gets power, they cling to it and they're afraid of losing it. Yes. So when I feel that I'm failing, when I feel like, oh man, that post underperformed, that's when I'm succeeding and I'm successful, because it makes me want to work harder. Yeah. It makes me want to do more. It makes me feel like, you know what, you still have more to learn and to explore in this, And that's why I like teaching people say, oh, those who can't do, teach. And then when I found myself in the classroom and that stupid ass slogan came into my mind, and then I experienced the perspective of the youth, which is something we don't have access to unless you have access to a child, and I realized, there's so much more I can learn by giving my information and my perspective to these people, but not hanging on to it, like that shit made me feel, it made me afraid. And that's another place that I love, is like, I love being in positions where I have fear. Because when I have fear, I'm forced to muster confidence and determination and discipline and the refusal to accept anything less than my effort as the outcome.
Yeah.
Versus, well, that didn't go how I was expecting. I don't care about that. I just want to do my best so I can see what I learn from it. Because an easy win is empty.
None to learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the final track on the album, The Ride.
What's the point? I'm not afraid to admit I done been through some shit. Sometimes it seemed like the only reason that I even exist. It's hard to keep learning, my tide keep turning. I know I never do it, but I still consider it. And in my life, I walk a road pulled tight, and most don't get it. They say you're so creative, they keep me motivated.
Yes.
It's a classic closer. Is this track summarizing the journey? Is it closing the loop or pointing forward to what's next?
I think that it's like, it's kind of the syllabus. It's like me saying, I told you all these things about myself, and for some reason, I'm not sure if I'm over it all the time. And we all go through all this shit in life, and we get to this point to where we're like, that's in the past now, man. But why the fuck are you? That's what traumatizes. Why am I still, giving it the space in my mind? Why am I still re-experiencing this? I used to have this thing that I would do where I'd lay in bed and I'd re-experience all my nightmares and critical failures without wishing I could change something to help me build a sense of acceptance of my journey in life. And it was like a meditational exercise because I can't sleep. So like I fucking, The Ride, I was like, one, of course, Slug, Sunshine, Slug's ability, like Yesterday, all those songs, those things make me think about the conversations he and I have had about the opportunities that exist in music beyond just making shit that sounds cool or makes you look cool or feel cool. And, you know, to let people know that despite the fact that this album is a representation of, or to my triumph over these things, I still think about killing myself every day. So it's like, and people aren't willing to say that, you know what I'm saying? People aren't willing to say, they're not willing to say that, yo, I know at this point I've convinced you that I'm this person, but actually this is who I am. And the only thing I can't control is myself. So like, I thought a lot about that scene in Fight Club where Tyler Durden and the other guy are fucking in the front of the Cadillac. And he's like, you're always trying to control shit, man. So take your fucking hands off the wheel. You know what I'm saying? And they accept the worst outcome is the best because it's all still part of the journey. It's not going to destroy you. And even if you do emerge from the wreckage, you know what I'm saying? You won't be ruined. You'll be who you truly are. And that's a line that Ed Norton's character crosses in that scene. And he's actually fighting himself. And that's what I'm doing every day. So I'm at war with myself. I'm at war with my inability to understand and perceive so many things that other people can. But at the same time, I apparently perceive and see things in a way that nobody else does. And most of the time that makes me feel like I'm missing out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I stood on a rooftop today and I fucking looked at all the people having fun at fucking Coney Island. You know what I'm saying? And I can't convince myself to cross the street. You know what I'm saying? And like, and to have a good time because I don't know how to fucking chill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like this shit is always on my mind and I'm fucking dealing with it. And my biggest like, oh no, you're fucking up is always like, oh, so now that you learned how to manage your fucking depression and your mental health problems, you solved it. If I get comfortable with this shit, it's going to usurp me. And so I have to keep managing it and assessing it and working through it because nobody can do this work but me. But I'm not alone, even though I often do feel like that. I'm not. So even when I was on my own, I was never alone. And that's what like my audience helps me remember. That's what people like this guy Ophio on Twitter. He's really big into, you know, engaging with me about his mental health and shit. And like, I love the fact that I do have an audience of people who understand the value of failure without judgment. And a lot of people are afraid to express or share their failure or their vulnerabilities because they know it's going to come with someone judging you. That's why, like on Me Too, I talk about why I hide the likes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same shit. The minute you read my post, you know, you TLDR me to begin with because I'm giving you my entire fucking life in this caption. And then you say, well, you'll be like, he has 20 likes. I'm not interested. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's, you constantly, when you try to affix a number to something's value, you immediately diminish the value of it within its own existence.
Yeah.
And for me, this collection of songs, like The Ride, it could have been at the start, but it's at the end because for me, it is the start, you know? It's what I'm going to do next because I've been trying to control and hanging on to this life for so long and this stuff. And I'm in a whole new place. You know what I'm saying? I'm you know, I knew I was headed in a direction during that time, but I mean, that's a song that like I played for my wife before we were married and she got it, you know, and I was scared to play that for her.
Yeah.
Because that song, you know, I performed it at the Immortal Technique show for the first time and somebody in the crowd fucking cried.
Oh,
so like there's something about that song and I'm gonna do it Saturday, you know, I'm gonna do it the fucking show. Right. But like there's and we'll see if I fuck it up. If I do, it'll be even better. But like I don't do this to be like cool. I do this because it helps me. And I've learned that if it helps me, it might be able to help one person. Right. And so The Ride is I'm in a 2-seater and the one thing I can do, you know what I'm saying, or is let you have that passenger seat, you know what I'm saying, until you're ready to drive. But even when you are driving, you know what I'm saying, you gotta learn to enjoy this fucking ride, man, because this shit, as bad as it is and as bad as it gets, this is the best it's ever been and the best it ever will be. This is the Bret Hart of our lives. Yeah. This is the excellence of execution if we keep going. Because if we don't, it's going to kill us. And, you know, the last thing I'll say is I've always believed that the easiest part about life is death. It's one long exhale. None of this shit matters anymore when you die.
All right.
Yep.
You can't take none of it with you. And the entire time you're here, you're just dealing with all this bullshit. But when you die, it doesn't matter about the bills. It doesn't matter about how you feel. It doesn't matter about who's doing what. Nothing matters. It's just you and that defining moment of transcendental or whatever, transcendence, whatever the fuck it is out there that's inside of us. It's that moment where you finally connect with it. And I believe that's why your mind feels like you're tripping balls, whatever they say when you die. You know, like when I did my TED talk, this is what I'll finish. When I did my TED talk, I'll never forget. I walked in the room and I said, "Who am I supposed to sit with?" Because when you do a TED talk, they separate the speakers from the actual thing. You're like in a bubble. It's fucking weird. You can't like sit in the crowd and watch somebody's TED talk. You have to watch it on a TV in another room, secluded.
Okay.
And I walked in this fucking room and I looked at all these young people who were about to do their thing. And I saw this guy in a wheelchair. And I was like, that's the guy I'm supposed to talk to. And I went and sat next to him. And his story was that he got hit by a fucking car and died and had to relearn how to walk. But he went and he said he encountered the divine. He saw the emerald throne. You know what I'm saying? Like all these things that he was not ever aware of that were confirmed later by scripture was what he witnessed and experienced. And I'll never forget that at the end of his speech, he was like, of his talk, he talked about how you got to find the love and joy in life, and you shouldn't have to get hit by a car and fly 14 feet to do it, Yeah. And I believe that's the kind of shit that I got stuck next to that dude for that reason. You know what I'm saying? We talked about Witcher 3, and then I found out, you got hit by a car and you were dead. You had to learn how to walk again, and you still can't walk right now, but you're learning. You know what I'm saying? You went through all this shit. And you went to the other side and you found out that this shit is not the big deal that we're making it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
How many times you push so hard and then you worry so much about the thing and then you get there and then you look back and go I was kind of doing all of that for nothing. It would have been fine. It would have been fine.
That's what the end of life is.
Yeah, and that's what you find out. It's all this shit I'm worried about doesn't fucking matter.
I know.
And it's humiliating.
Speaking of the ride, the being on the last song, I'm riding shotgun on your ride. I fucking love your music. I love it. I love what you do. I love you as a person.
Love you too.
Well, what you represent is something powerful, and I really dig it. Thank you for taking us for a trip down your album. Let's get we're gonna just kill the last one here with this is Mr. Dibs. Mr. Dibs sent this in to me 2 minutes before we pressed record.
Wow.
My man. My fucking man.
Let's see if we can get this one to share.
Give it up, Mr. Dibs on the turntable.
Listen to more of this.
Okay, hold still. I promise it's hurting me more than it's hurting you. Oh, hey Adrian. Hey Ty. Sorry about that. I was doing some drilling for a project or something. Well, hello guys, and hello to your guest. One of my favorite MCs currently out right now, BlackLiq. It's funny how Q is pronounced like a C, because it's not lick Q, or maybe it is. But it's not BlackLiq Q. Maybe it is. Anyway, question time. I would like you to look at the image that Ty will now put up. Pow! That is Ed Brown. It's Big Ed from one of the seasons of 90 Day Fiancé, and coming up with my last minute question, I thought he would be appropriate. You seem like a man that knows your way around hair, and Ed happens to use a condiment in his hair to slick it back and to style it. Fact. The question is, does Big Ed use mayo or Miracle Whip in his hair? And if you were going to have to style your hair, what would you prefer? Mayonnaise or Miracle Whip? Remember, one of them will be tangy. There it is.
Yo, wow, I looked at Big Ed, and I'm going to say that dude looks like mayo. Number one, me, it would have to be Miracle Whip because I don't fucking trust mayonnaise. I don't like, and it's funny he brought up the spelling because look at the way mayonnaise is spelled. That is not your friend. That is your enemy. I do not trust mayonnaise, whoever you think you are. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust it. You know, there was a time when I would eat a Philly steak and cheese, and tell my man Barnes, aka the other Slug, Lord Slug, and so he put me on. He's like, "You put a little bit of mayonnaise on it, man. I'm telling you, man." And it did make a difference. Okay, fine, but I don't fuck with mayo. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the idea that it's an emulsion. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the idea that there's some sort of eggs involved with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't like its fucking color. I really don't like its smell. And I don't like the fact that it's sold in jars and there's a brand called Dukes or some shit. You know, I don't like any of this. I don't trust mayonnaise. And while this conversation and this question does bring to yet another fucking Kanye West line from back when Kanye was Kanye West, which was, you know, mayonnaise colored Benz, it's a Miracle Whip or whatever, like, cool, nice bar, but still he ruined the car for me in that line because all I could think of was the fucking mayonnaise. I don't like mayonnaise. I don't trust it. I never will. And I have no way of ever accepting it presently. And you know what? You know what really fucks with me? I'm going to tell y'all what really fucks with me right here. This is the condiment that they say you should refrigerate, right? Yeah, you go to certain restaurants and they have it in packets like ketchup.
Yeah.
Not cold. It's like, and like tartar sauce. Is that mayonnaise's fucking fishy cousin?
Yeah.
You know? I can't do it, yo. So yeah, nah.
Awesome.
Never.
It's a great way to wrap it up. That's thank you, Dibs, for your Mayo Miracle
He
question.
has the dibs on all the mayo. Yeah.
And with Dibs bringing up some madness, we'll close out this segment. Then we'll do 3 questions of your first, worst, and thirst, and then we'll get you out of here.
Bet.
Would you rather perform in a toddler mosh pit or a library of rap critics?
Oh, library, definitely. Yeah. Because I love a good critic. I'm gonna fuck them up.
And then this is pick your poison: telling a lie or being told a lie.
Fuck. Being told a lie.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the final one: Nick Cage in a haunted doll movie with 0 dialogue, or Nick Cage in a rom-com where he plays both lovers.
Oh, yeah, that's fucking wild. The doll movie. Okay. Because that is where we would get some Western kabuki.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, boom. There you go. Okay, I'm hungry. I'm ready to be served. This is The Dish with BlackLiq.
DOD45.
It's raw. It's fucking raw.
How much you charge for this dish?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Ask you what your interests are.
Do you like it? Who you gonna be talking to?
First things first, the first what's
Love, hey. Talk, questions, conversations, laughter.
Here we go. Thanks, Buddy Peace, for the theme music. BlackLiq will dish us his first, worst, and thirst. Here's your question for you first. What circumstance did you burn your first CDR, and should we go back to that era?
Ooh. I acquired CDRs. I believe I had a 4X burner, burned it to bootleg PSX games.
Oh.
Should we go back to CDs as medium? I love CDs. I think that 80 minutes is starting at 60, but then, or 74, but then getting 80, if not 80, 230, if you overburn. Like, it's a unique thing. It's a cassette for a certain era of people. And it's digital media. Like, I think that we should go back to them, but only if it's about more than selling them.
Yeah. that trading of them. What did you say? It was a 4-speed, 4 times burner?
Yeah.
What? That's so slow now, right?
It was 40 minutes of disc, I believe.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well, that must be real quick now.
Oh, shit. You can get I mean, once you hit 40x, I believe, 16x is like the gateway, but once you hit 40x, I don't think you can go any faster. You can burn a CD in like 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
What happens is that when you have higher speed CD burners, you run a risk of having shitty shit happen, like with the buffer and whatnot. Like the Pioneer CD burner was great. I bootlegged a lot of Dreamcast games too. You know what I'm saying? I was heavy in the streets with the bootleg game for a long time. That's why for a very long time my music was free, because I had a whole territory of the state locked down. But that's a whole other story. But fucking like CDs, like I mean, just to tell you this, okay? This is a BlackLiq story. It won't be the longest one, I promise. BlackLiq story. I used to burn my CDs, my music, and wrap them in paper cases. I used to write on them myself and wrap them and fold it up in paper cases, because I believe that if someone's going to see my work, they'd have to see it by seeing what's the contents of my character and the contents of my music versus the way in which it was presented. And I forced myself to give out 6 copies a day. Every day I left my house, I had a pocket with 6 CDs. And I handed those out to people at the price of a conversation. And, I would burn them sometimes, when they had the soul contest or whatever it is, a contest, but the concert in Richmond, I burned, I believe, 250 at a marathon burning session, handwriting, burning, folding paper cases, and we went out and we passed them out one by one at a time. I was so broke at the time that I had a cell phone that didn't have a screen. So when people texted me in response to my music, I never got to see what they said. But the thing that was cool was that when I walked back to my car, to Pi, my man Pi was the one who took us. When we walked back to his car, and that was a 36-hour marathon. We walked back to his car. I only found like 5 copies of those CDs on the ground. And I gave them to somebody else, mind you, because I recycle and reuse.
Yeah.
But the other thing too that was fucking amazing about that era and about burning CDs is that I could I developed the cold sale. You know what I'm saying? It was like a personal cold call, and it was all about picking. You could look at somebody in the crowd and say, that guy's going to take my CD. And I would go and I could pick them out at things, and I could be like, that one's going to take a CD, that one will. Don't give one to that person. They're not going to take it. And when I went on my thing where they cut my cable off over like a $250 bill or whatever, and I had no cable for like a year, and I recorded 100 songs, we were doing 3 a week for 9 months straight, I turned that into 10 albums. And I fucking passed those albums out monthly. I released them, and then I would hand distribute them at my retail gig. I worked at a GameStop, and I would fucking hand out the CDs every month. A new game comes out, somebody comes in, and they're coming to talk to me, and I'm like, yo, I got a CD for you. And they're like, oh, no, you gave me that one already. I'm like, no, I didn't. This is a new one. And so I developed a certain approach and perspective. And I remember I went to a Project Pat show, and one of the DJs was prominent in commercial radio in Richmond. I gave him my CD just to see if he talked shit about me on the internet. And then I went home and looked up his feed, and he said, some rapper just gave me a CD in a paper case. You got to come professional, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, little do you know that, you don't know who I am or what I do, but you showed me like what you're thinking and how your view is of it. And you failed my test.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I passed mine. But burning CDs for me as an artist was like going hand to hand and giving them for free. That feel of buying 100 CDs on a spindle and seeing the potential of all the things that could come from it. It's something we don't get anymore because of the streaming era.
I was gonna say, is there a digital era? Is there a digital version of that now? Like, how do that you going and handing out tapes and handing out CDs and that stuff like that?
Yeah.
What is that version?
You can't even do it anymore.
There's a people reading skill involved that you just, unless you're in sales, a lot of people are still in sales, but you just, I don't know if people get that anymore.
Yeah, but getting people to buy something for free, like that's the thing, is it's free, but you still have to buy it through a meaningful interaction.
All right, here's your worst question.
Mm-hmm.
What's the worst show crowd you ever faced? Like the time that people literally turn their backs on you.
Ooh, I got a few. Like, okay, wait, it's a tie because I did. Yo, imagine this. Why the fuck would you book BlackLiq, aka Black Liquid, for a twerk show?
Did you know?
I knew. That's why I went. Absolutely. I wanted, because look, out of that 100 people or whatever, that it was like 50 out of 50 people in my mind when I took the show. I was like, it doesn't matter how many people, if I can find one person that's into lyrical hip hop and likes to shake their ass, that's a double win. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I went and they were like, what the fuck is this? The other joint is, I'll never forget, I did there was a club party. This guy was seemingly trying to buy me. And he was an artist too, and he was trying to be mysterious, but also have this juice. And he VIP'd us into this big commercial type club. And he told me I was gonna perform. And that night I had brought and distributed through my guys about 301s, and we were just gonna throw it on people because I was like, I want to do some nigga shit tonight. You know what I'm saying? And so, we all got big wads of money and we're waiting for this chance to perform. And I got to perform, but not in the way that it was supposed to happen. So I was like, we're keeping the money. Fuck that. So I kept the money, but I performed. And I'll never forget, it's a packed big club that's not designed sonically for live music, first off, okay? So this is already bad. And I'm going through a crowd, and this is back when, on indie levels, you didn't encounter wireless mics that much. But I had a wireless mic, and I'm in this crowd, and everybody's in their Gucci and their fucking fits, you know what I'm saying? There's some nigga shit going on in this joint, you know what I'm saying? They want to hear that Weezy. They don't want to hear no Black fucking lick. And I'm in there, and I'm doing can I get a deal and shit, my old shit. And as I'm rapping through the crowd, people are saying different things to me, but they're saying it quietly and politely in my ear. And I'll never forget, I got this dude leaned in and he said, "Hey, stop doing that shit, y'all." And it just kept going. Yo, stop doing that shit, y'all. And it went right back to the business. It was so awesome. I was like, this is fucking amazing. I'll never forget that shit. He leaned in so intimately and so quietly and respectfully and politely and told me I suck, basically. Mid-song. I'm in the middle of my verse. I'm focused. I'm like, yo, it's going down. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck what happened. And then I'm like, I'm in it. I'm like, they claim that they're ill, but stop doing that shit, y'all. Like, what? You know what I mean? But I didn't skip a beat. But that was probably the most brutal crowd.
Funny. You didn't even flinch, right?
Oh, absolutely not. He made my night.
All right, here's your thirst.
Okay.
What is your favorite backstage snack or ritual that fills you up?
My favorite, while of course, I'm always gonna fuck some coffee up. My favorite backstage snack is being nervous. I want to be as nervous as possible. I want to feel like shit. I want to feel like this is going to go wrong, because the heavier it is, the more I have to throw on the crowd.
Yeah.
And as soon as I get in front of those people, it comes down to, oh, you know what I'm saying? This is what we're doing, huh? This is how it's going to be. Y'all gonna get this, and I'm gonna throw all of it on you, and I'm gonna keep crushing y'all with the weight that I placed upon myself. It's not even simply psychological pressure. It's not the desire to do an excellent performance. It's the fact that I am ready to die. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna kill you motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna live through this, y'all gonna die. And that's the energy I bring to stage. That's why they call me the face melter. You know what I'm saying? The melter of faces, is because I go 1,000, no matter whether it's 1,000 or if it's 2 people. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give you all of it, and I'm going to go through this same mental process that's unnerving and strips me of all my ego and all my pride and all my ability, so that when I get in front of that crowd, I can actually be me.
Yeah. I love it. And for those of you who are watching, the hope is this episode dropping Tuesday night before the show. You will see that at the Strange Famous Bash.
Oh, you will get bashed, and hopefully, if we don't have broccoli, I'm still gonna hit you with some shit.
I don't know why there wouldn't be broccoli.
I'm hiding from the broccoli.
Don't eat it.
Well, there you go, folks. We've been served by BlackLiq. Check, please.
This is done, man. Pins him down to the shot.
All right, man. Thank you so much for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure diving into your album. What's next for you professionally or personally, what's the next move?
All right. So as I begin to develop the idea of how I exist now at where I'm married and I'm happy. This is two completely new experiences.
Yeah.
And that'll bleed into my art eventually, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But I'm not used to being happy and I'm not used to this fucking place. And so I want to work on that. But I'm also professionally and musically, I'm going to continue to push Much Given, Much Tested. We've got several more videos. We've got at least 3. And we're probably going to shoot 1 or 2 more. I'm going to work with Mopes and finish our album because like the skeleton is there, but we need to go ahead and put some flesh on it so we can, hit y'all with a corpse. And then y'all can make it live. We can reanimate it. But I'm going to do that with Mopes. And the real thing, I've been thinking a lot about this and I'm really trying to leverage the accountability. I want to work on this book. I wrote a book in the most unorganized form. And that became me journaling more. And that's kind of how it ended up becoming a private thing is I journal every day. But I initially dedicated a year of daily writing to a book. Cool. I'm finally going to get the courage up to consolidate all the entries that I've selected as passages for the book. I'm going to print them out and I'm going to read them and I'm going to decide what the fuck is this? And then I'm going to give it to people. And, I don't know if we're going to be selling the BlackLiq book. Like, I've been hit with all kinds of shit. You should make a calendar and Post-it notes and all this shit. That'll be fun. I'll do it. But Dessa has a book called My Own Devices. Mm-hmm. I believe I hope I didn't fuck her title up.
That's right.
But that book was one of the books like Sophia Chang, Baddest Bitch in the Room, like fucking Iceberg Slim Pimp, like Malcolm X, like that's the Tao, you know what I'm saying? Lil Zoo, like, the Confucius shit, you know what I'm saying? Like that's one of the books that changed my fucking perspective on literature and on life. And I want to join that group of people in that pantheon. I want Randy, my friend Randy from Lamb of God, Randy Blythe is a great author. And, we talk all the time. We talked while he was writing his latest joint. And it made it into a chapter in a sense. And Mark from Lamb of God, like they're all authors. Blueprint, Merce's book is fucking amazing. You know what I'm saying? The Tour Stories joint. Like, I want to give people my own experience and I want to make this book. So like I have heroes and all those people I mentioned are my fucking heroes.
Yeah.
And I want to honor my heroes by following through and creating some sort of book. Instead of worrying about whether it's good or bad, I want to create a book and release it from a place of acceptance. And then I want to be able to move on and hopefully not drown in the puddle.
Yeah. Well, that's a good future bit to look forward to.
Oh, it's not going to. Oh yeah. And the other thing too is just more money, more credit score building, more working out, more positive energy activating my constant evolution and elevation. You know what I'm saying? That's the double piece. And just really the main thing too is just gratitude. I finally have experienced joy. And I think that joy is best paired with gratitude.
Yes. Oh, thanks, Black, for spending your time with us. I look forward to seeing you this next weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be fucking weird, and I'm excited. And the thing that's most interesting to me is that like as MCs, we do so little performing now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right.
So like getting in front of people, there's a thing that happens. I forget that I know how to rap all the time. You know what I'm saying? And so like when I get to remember, it's like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying? I love this thing that I do, And so I'm excited about experiencing that with the people that I love and fucking, and just really having a chance to carry the pressure of performance and then let it all go and then move on and see how depressed I get from it.
It's a good place.
All right, man. Have a great rest of your night. Fucking love it. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, yo. I will see y'all. Take care of yourselves, yo. And that shit is fucking crazy, yo.
I'll get it way more detailed, and if I can get it done before, I'll also bring it to give to you there.
If not, I'll give you the address to this place, and you can fucking send it to the land of New York.
All right, man.
Yo,
thanks so much.
No,
Black.
thank you, yo. It's a pleasure, yo. Y'all be safe, all right?
All right.
Okay,
all right.
see ya.
Peace.
Bye.
I write rhymes for the reasons that you don't, you fuck. I did shows with major artists and realized that they suck. All my heroes ain't dead, they just making a living. I know a whole lot of bitches, and ain't none of them women.
All right, we'll run out of here real quick. Thank you so much, Black. Oh boy, that was awesome. I was thinking, since the episodes aren't dropping as often, just because of time wise, I was like, you know what, whatever. Let's just go. Let's hear about the album. So there you go. There's a whole life look into BlackLiq, and there's not one boring second about him.
No.
Nope. It's all gems, like Seychelles throwing pearls at you. Yeah, so great.
He's a great guy.
So here's the drawing that you're looking at. All the imagery is
And I feel bad that we didn't even know that he was. I don't think I knew that he was going through so much. He never mentioned it at all.
No, but I kind of like that.
I feel like I knew that there were things.
I knew stuff was going on with his mom.
But yeah.
That was trippy to me this morning when I discovered that Michael, he's the one that's singing on that song.
Yeah, that's cool.
And those are two people, you don't see it that often, but both Black and Michael, they were always sharing their mother and things that they were doing with their mom. And I don't see it from anyone else. I mean, everyone says, what's up to mom? But that was like a lot of their content. I don't know. Yeah. I thought that was very interesting that's how that worked out. So here's the drawing. All the imagery, like I said, pulled from the track titles and stuff like that. It's very metaphorical. You'll have to figure it out. I'm not going to explain it to you.
We're not going to hold our hands through it?
Nope. But there's lots in there. There's themes of morality, confusion, truth, anxiety, surveillance, all those things. You can buy prints of this one or any past episode or any past drawing that I've done from episodes at DOD45.com. You can follow at Art by Ty on Instagram and go to artbyty.com to buy any of my artwork. There's a whole book of drawing of the DOD45 drawings coming out, every one. More will be about that later. I'm not going to announce here just yet. We'll roll that out. Here's some recommendations and we'll get you out of here. I have a movie share. The movie's called Athena.
Mon frère est décédé à 0h30 cette nuit. Pour la mémoire d'Idir, et les coupables seront traduits en justice. Je vous demanderai de rester calme.
It's a super intense French movie from the get-go. It just goes. It's by a dude named Romain Gavras. It's from 2022, and it's now streaming on Netflix, so you can go watch it. It is a French film, so you got to read the subtitles, but it's so action-packed, you're barely reading anything. It's an action drama about three brothers in the banlieue. How do you say it? Banlieue of Athena, and that's the suburbs out on the outskirts of Paris. And it follows it's about these three brothers after their youngest sibling is killed by police. Super intense. Over the weekend in Des Moines last week, when we were in our hotel, I was watching some really over-stylized South Korean film on Netflix in the hotel room. And I just was bored out of my mind. Then I stumbled onto this movie, Athena, and it instantly hooked me. It's got raw inner energy and brutal beauty. It totally woke me up, and I think you're going to have the same experience. The opening scene is a one-shot, and it's a one-shot that's of a riot that's ignited at a police station, and that goes on from there. I know that one-shots are kind of the trend these days, but it's not annoying like it was in the movie that I was watching, that South Korean movie. It's just unrelenting, this movie. Here's the plot in a nutshell. There's the character Abdel. He's the soldier cop brother. He calls for calm. Then there's the middle brother Kareem. He's the activist brother that sparks the whole uprising. And then Mokhtar. He's the criminal brother that gets caught between moral and material stakes. The visual style is like 1917, the movie 1917, and Birdman. There's that energy. Go check it out. I really like it. There's other stuff that I could say about it, but it doesn't even matter. Saying, go watch the movie. It's won awards. It's on Netflix. It's quite a ride. All right, Adrian, do you have a song share?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna assume it's called Xed Eyes, XED Eyes by Holy Fuck.
little F-bomb for
I know, I don't usually like to swear on public things, but here we go. It's the band's name. What do you
Cool.
want?
Thank you. And here's my song share. Anything else you want to say about it? No. The music speaks itself. My song share is a song called A Little Bit by Kenny Siegel and K the I.
Oh, that's interesting. You almost did a Kenny Siegel song.
My citadel, written well, who can tell? Released at least on life, at ease appeased despite being in hell. I fell further, more to the observer, morally past murder, surgically in tune, and better roses blossom, loom, consumer plume, full moon merger. Sunrise, very sabbatical.
Oh, you almost did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this song's super. It's glitchy, gritty, cerebral. It's fucking really awesome. It's on the DOD45 Loves playlist, so you can repeat it over and over and over and over again, along with all these other songs that we shared at our playlist on Spotify. I'm not trying to sell, I'm not promoting Spotify, but it is where we keep all of these songs in one playlist until there's some other place that I can do that. Go to, it's called DOD45 Loves, LUVS. It's a really fun playlist, and there's all kinds of music there that you can just play all day long. If you dig the tracks in that playlist, we want you to go support the artist who made the music in there. Please do that. Thank you. Thanks again, BlackLiq. Go to blackliq.bandcamp.com for access to his music. You can go to strangefamousrecords.com for their access for his music. The new album is at dubsonata.bandcamp.com. I don't think it's on BlackLiq's Bandcamp. I think you get it at Dub Sonata's Bandcamp. We'll be at Strange Famous Beach Bash this weekend in Rhode Island. South Kingston, Rhode Island, actually. So if you can get tickets to that, go see it. Thanks for watching and supporting our show. Thanks for supporting my artwork. Subscribe and review. It really does help. DOD45.com is where you find all the links. Submit your questions through Instagram at DOD45W or even on the Spotify if that's where you're listening. New episodes will drop on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. whenever we have an episode. That's the schedule now. We have a wild Art by Ty schedule coming up this summer. We will be at the Beach Bash in Rhode Island, but for Art by Ty stuff, next week we'll be in Ann Arbor. The week after that we'll be in Syracuse. First time up there in Syracuse for an art festival. You can see our full tour dates at artbyty.com. Adrian, do you have any final words?
None.
All right.
Thank you, BlackLiq.
Thank you, BlackLiq. That's us done. My sincerest apologies to Aesop Rock. We ran out of time. Thanks for spending your evening with us. Tell your friends and family about the DOD45 show and have a terrific week. Maybe I'll have a last word from BlackLiq at the end of this episode, or maybe there's enough. We'll see. All right, that's us done. Thanks. We're out here. Peace.
DOD45.
Thank you for joining in on yet another episode of the DOD45 show. Please hit the subscribe or follow button so that you never miss an episode. You can even go one step further by leaving us a review on the YouTube stream or on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever it is that you stream our show from. You can find me at Art by Ty on all the socials or at artbyty.com. And if you'd like to follow the DOD45 show on social media, we're at DOD45W on Instagram, or you can go over to our website at DOD45.com where you can shoot us an email, join our mailing list, and watch all of our past episodes. Consider joining us for a live chat on the YouTube premieres of episodes now every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Peace.